Continental Indoor Soccer League, back for an exciting fourth season. There's only one game on the CISL 1997 docket tonight, and that's right here at the Palace of Auburn Hills, the new look Detroit Safari, hosting the Indiana Twisters. How you doing, everybody? My name is Matt Shepard. Glad you can spend part of your Friday night with us. Let's bring in Joel Epstein. Joel, this is a new name, a team. It's got some new faces, but the expectations are still high for Paul Child and the Safari. This has got his thumbprint all over it, doesn't it?
It does. The top assist man for the Safari, the top shot blocker, and the most veteran goalkeeper they had last season are all gone now. But Paul Child feels like he has a better team. And because he has the Rookie of the Year last year, he came from San Diego in the dispersal draft. And that's Carlos Farias. Very clever with the ball. You'll see a lot of excellent dribbling and penetrating from that player. Also, the experience of Michael Collins joins the Safari. He was traded for Drago from Sacramento. He's 17 years now in this league, in playing soccer. He's got a lot of experience. That's why they want him here on the field.
Tell you what, anytime you look at Indiana, anytime you look at the Twisters club, you got to look at Mariano Balela, don't you?
That's right. Balela was 5th in total points for the league last year and 2nd in assists. Everything they do offensively goes through Balela. Also, the goalkeeper, John Kluba. He spent his rookie season here in Detroit with this ball club, but he's been in the pipes last season in '96 and now in '97 with the Twisters.
You know, Detroit started off their season last year with Indiana. They are 1-2 in season openers. Last year, they picked up the win, the 8-2 knockout of Indiana. They look to repeat again tonight. The opening kickoff and tonight's starting lineups when we return right after this.
Detroit Safari Soccer, brought to you by Safari by GMC, putting you comfortably in command. Your local Coca-Cola bottler, always refreshing, always Coca-Cola. Aero Uniform, keeping you and your company looking good on the job. Soccer World, for all your soccer needs. And by St. Joseph Mercy Oakland. There are many kinds of care, but only one kind that's mercy.
If you're looking for more than a minivan, more standard power, more towing capacity, even more room and comfort, you're looking for a Safari by GMC. And now, it's the perfect time to lease. Because right now, you can lease Safari for only $299 a month for 36 months. Get more than a minivan. Get a Safari now. See your GMC dealer today.
For everything in the world of soccer, there's Soccer World. Soccer World specializes in the best soccer equipment and sportswear. And Soccer World is known for their incredible selection of footwear and service. Their staff can put you into the cleat that best suits your style of play, including Adidas, Nike, Lotto, Lanzera, and many more. Make your soccer connection at Soccer World on 5 Mile west of Farmington in Livonia and at the corner of 14 Mile and DeQuinder in Sterling Heights.
And welcome back to the Palace of Auburn Hills. Matt Shepard along with Joel Epstein as the Detroit Safari look to kick off their 1997 season in similar fashion like they did a year ago against the same team they did a year ago. Joel, 8-2, they were winners last year over Indiana. It would be a nice start to a nice season for Paul Child if he can get it going again tonight.
Well, it will be, and they look forward to getting this season kicked off. It's been a long off season, and the fact that they're still putting their team together somewhat. Players are still arriving. Chris White just arrived a couple days ago to help them in the back. So it'll be interesting to see, because Indiana's in a similar situation. They're still adding players. And now the keys to tonight's ball game. Important thing for the Safari to do is make sure that they keep the pace to their liking, because Indiana is a team that's been practicing twice a day for a long time now. So the Safari have to make sure that they keep the ball in possession and that they let the younger players on the Twisters run around and wear themselves out a little bit and play smarter than the Twisters are going to play. And the other thing, to keep this crowd in the ball game, you want to see the Safari get up on top right from the beginning and be able to maintain a lead to keep the crowd in the ball game.
Joel, they scrimmaged against Indiana early in the training camp. Did not fare that well, but Paul Child did not have some of the guys that he usually has with him on the road trip.
Well, that's right. Andy Chapman, Ian Fairbrother, as well as some of the players that have just been acquired did not make that trip. So it's hard to tell. Basically, that type of situation, Matt, was for players on the bubble who didn't know if they were going to make this side or not. So that gives Paul a good opportunity to see those guys in a pressure situation against another ball club.
Joel, they also had a scrimmage scheduled against Washington, D.C. Against Washington, the Warthogs, they lost 6-1, won in a shootout a little bit later on as they went to an overtime type session. But again, they didn't have Andy Chapman, they didn't have Ian Fairbrother. How does Paul Child try to adapt now to a game type situation with those guys when he didn't have them before?
Well, what Andy Chapman does for this team, he's the head point man. It's a unique system that the Safari play, in that they have one point man, and then Kenny Snow comes out and plays the point as well. You won't find a truer pivot man than Andy Chapman or Kenny Snow in this league. So when they had Kenny on that trip, they were able to use him as they would Andy Chapman. With Ian Fairbrother being gone, some of the other defenders got more playing time. They gave them opportunity to get their feet underneath them, so to speak, in this league and understand the pace of the game and a little bit more about how to play with each other.
Folks, there's a lot of new faces on this Detroit Safari team this year. Joel talked about a couple of them. Chili, or Carlos Farias, as he likes to be called. Michael Collins, just a couple of them. Jimmy McHugh is another guy who will start tonight for Paul Child. Here's a guy who's a new face. Bobby D'Annunzio, experience, but also a new face. And then you've got guys coming back like Greg Matlack, such a solid player for him a year ago. Guys like Jason Davis, and you talked about Andy Chapman, obviously. And then you look at a guy like Kenny Snow. All those guys can take care of business for Paul Child in an opening game tonight, but more importantly, they are experienced players, Joel. That's what Paul Child probably wants to go with because of the atmosphere and because it is the game night jitters, isn't it?
Well, you also have the home field advantage here, which the Safari took care of last year. They were 10-4 at home. Didn't fare nearly as well on the road. Go back to Matlack for a second, Matt, and you have a player who was the runner-up to Farias as Rookie of the Year. He was on the all-rookie team, first team, so you've got some good young talent on this team. It'll be interesting to see if they get on the court together, what kind of work they're able to accomplish working a two-man game.
You talked about the keys for Detroit. What do you think the keys are for Indiana, knowing that they struggled terribly on the road a year ago and knowing that they are just in their second year of existence?
Well, they've improved their club, from what Jorge Espinoza told me before the game, about 30 to 40%. They do still have some of their experienced players, like a Terry Rowe, who was with the Safari Club for the last couple seasons. Of course, in '96, he was down in Indy when their franchise opened. They were a new team to this league last year. Jorge came over from the Mexican team that was disbanded, so he had experience in this league. He feels that he's ahead of where he was last year. He feels that it took him 10, 15 games before he got his team where he thought they could be and should be. You have a good deal of the players that play for Indiana played in the MPSL last year. Bo Layla, Moreno played in Tampa Bay. So they've had a whole season of playing indoor soccer, and they've played with each other. They're going to be sharper. This is a very fit team. What they want to do is high pressure the Safari Club into making mistakes in their own end. If they're able to do that, then they get easy opportunities at Yarrow and the Safari goal.
Hey, Joe, one of the key positions, as always, goalkeeper. No longer do you have P.J. Johns in the Detroit net. who you have between the posts now is Yarrow. He gets the nod full time. There was some minor concern with his play during the preseason here, during the scrimmages. Your thoughts on Yarrow and his capabilities?
Well, Yarrow was able to beat out P.J. Johns last year, who was the preeminent goalkeeper in this league. This is the real thing now, Matt. That was preseason. Yarrow is ready. I'm sure he's ready. You can see Superman Andy Chapman coming through. He has an incredible string going. He's played in 59 straight games. He has not missed a ball game since signing with this Safari club up here at the Palace. And this will be his 60th match tonight. He was the leading goal scorer and a leading man with points. They go through him and expect a lot of Andy Chapman. He had off-season knee surgery, arthroscopic. He's feeling much fitter this season.
One more goal for Andy Chapman, and it's number 75 in his Detroit franchise career. Not a bad thing to hang your hat on. Joel, overall, you look at this team. You and I have been to practices. We've talked with Paul Child. He seems much more at ease with the guys he has on this club.
Yeah, last year there were some older players who want to do things their way, so to speak. Now he has some players that more in his mold. He's a lot happier. He feels this team will be 100% better than last year, which is going to be quite a trick because last year they went 13-15, but were able to make the playoffs. If they're able to do better than that and make the playoffs, they had to face Monterey. They went to 3 games with Monterey. Monterey plays in that small building. They beat Monterey here during the season and in the playoffs. So they had a good, solid team last year, but there were a few players that wanted to do things their way. Paul feels that this is more in his ilk. He was a strong, strong player when he played the game.
If you want to win championships, you got to have the defense there. Paul Child did not have the defense last year. 197 goals against, worst in the CISL. How do you improve there, and has he improved it?
Well, the top shot blocker is now gone from this team, and that was Jay White. And he's now playing in the NPSL solely. So they've improved it with people like Ben Powers. Chris White will be here the entire season. He stands 6'3". And the way Paul describes him, he's like an octopus out there. He's impossible to go around. So, yes, I think they have improved their defense this season.
Detroit 13 up, 15 down a year ago, a +8 from 2 seasons ago. Can they improve on 13 wins again, though?
Paul thinks they can, and he's the guy who's responsible for putting this club together. Only time will tell as you go through the season and see how strong the other teams are and what other injuries you go through and situations where players get suspended for this or that or whatever from the league. But the nucleus is sound. He feels that he has done his shopping. His shopping is now over. And he's set with the team he has. He's got one more player coming in. He's on the roster, Garduño. And he's coming in from Seattle. And he's pretty happy with the club. And he'll just mold it in his image.
One of the keys to the game, and one of the guys you highlighted during our pregame festivities, Michael Collins. The trade for him for a very popular player, Drago. Your thoughts on that trade, and what does Michael Collins bring to the table for this club?
Michael Collins brings leadership. And Michael Collins is a solid citizen and a solid player. Drago was a fan favorite. My son just about cried when he heard that Drago was gone. Drago was very tough on the young players, though. It made it hard to practice from time to time. Michael works in a different fashion. What Michael does is he brings his enthusiasm and his positive reinforcement to the club. And they love his leadership. First day of practice, he was out there leading the club. He was not hesitating and waiting, sitting back.
Interesting, too. We talked with Michael Collins a number of times. He and Andy Chapman have a pretty good feel for one another so quickly. It didn't take them long to have that chemistry that you need when you're a new guy coming to a new club with an already established veteran like Andy Chapman. We've talked about Michael Collins. We've talked about Chile, if you will. We talked about Kenny Snow. This is a team that's going to put some points on the board, isn't it?
Oh, yes. There's a lot of offense on this team with Chile and Matlack. These guys were both well-kept secrets last year. That's why they were so successful to a certain degree. Teams started to catch up with them as they went through the season and realized they had to mark them much closer.
There's another key guy in this equation, and that's Chris White. One of the bigger guys in the CISL, but only played 4 games with this club a year ago. Now they get him for the full season.
Well, and he's still going to have to get used to the indoor game. He has not played much indoors. We can see the goalkeeper, Kluba, from Indiana. He spent a year here as the backup. Now he's the main man. He had 4 assists last year. You know he can throw the ball.
Yeah, we know he can throw the ball. He also is still Detroit's all-time leader in assists from a goalkeeper as well, and he had that a couple of years ago. We're just about ready to get things rolling here. Andy Chapman is out there for the Safari with Michael Collins, Carlos Farias, or Chile, who is number 17 for you, Bobby D'Annunzio is out there, and so is Ian Fairbrother. And the Safari take control in their own zone with Fairbrother back toward the red line, cross field to D'Annunzio. D'Annunzio loses it to the Twisters, and then Chile comes up to help out with support. Watch out for Carlos Farias. This guy can do magic with a soccer ball. And a quick whistle. Already, as we just get underway here, Jose Luis Rojano out there for Indiana was fouled by Chile.
You can see that the Twister players are very conscious of double teaming. They get a situation on the boards there with Fairbrother, and they double team him and not allow him to break out.
So Indiana will get the free kick inbounds. Farias there tries to distract a number 20, Rich Ryerson, but to no avail, and now it's back into the Detroit zone. Headed almost out of there by Bobby D'Annunzio. Now it's cleared to midfield. Back comes Indiana. Neil Gilbert moving left to right on your screen or your radio dial. Shot on goal. Yarrow with a save. He wings it up the middle, intended for Chapman, picked off there by Neil Gilbert.
It's interesting to see the Twisters let Chapman get behind their defense there. Yarrow's throw was not long enough, but they need to be aware that, boy, if they can get the ball past that final defender, it's going to be Chapman and the goalkeeper.
Well, there was a combination that Chapman and Collins tried to work. Collins tried to go off the Cintas board, but it didn't help out. Indiana was able to pick it off. Now Chile trying to steal the ball, and he does, and he's taken down midfield in the circle. Scott Lawler fighting Chile for it, but Indiana will retain possession. So Chile now with a second foul.
You can see that Indiana's making changes. Jorge Espinoza, the only coach in the league who works one of the doors on his bench.
Carlos Zavela, cross field. Here's the goalkeeper, Kluba. Kluba and Indiana, and this is what Paul Child said they would do. They would hold on to it as long as they could until Detroit pressured them a little bit. Kluba is a main component of their offense/defensive attack. He is back there handling the ball an awful lot.
That's a good point, Matt, because he really does add to the offense. Now you're split. The man on top, Chapman, is split on who he's marking. He's got to mark both those guys.
Jose Lodono swings it to Zavala. Zavala has it midfield. Now back to Kluba. Chapman out. In comes Greg Matlack. Actually, Kenny Snow. Excuse me. Kenny Snow off Paul Child's bench for the first time of the 1997 season.
You can see neither team is able to penetrate right now. The ball's being kept outside on the perimeter.
Matthew Blackburn tries to penetrate, and he does. Yarrow comes out of the box to help out, and a whistle out on the play.
Blackburn got into Yarrow as he was trying to knock that ball free. Yarrow was susceptible there because he left his goal and was out there by himself. Nobody cut behind him in defense, really, to shield the goal.
Chris White tries to get it in for Detroit, blocked by Terry Rowe, and now into the hands of Yarrow. Yarrow up ahead to Matlack, heads it across field. Now, as Kenny Snow went toward the box, it was kicked away. Detroit retains possession in the Indiana zone. Fairbrother midfield finds McGew. Bobby McGew finds him. Bobby D'Annunzio out there with him as well. Kenny Snow penetrates down toward the right boards, but knocked off the ball and into the hands of Kluba.
Really the Safari's first attempt here at some half-court offense. You can see they work the ball around. They don't really know each other as well as they will obviously during the season. They're still trying to feel each other out, and you'll see that there's a little miscommunication here and there as they work through this early part of the season.
In the first quarter, Detroit still without a shot on goal. Bobby D'Annunzio beaten in the back now. Yarrow comes out to help out. Now D'Annunzio past the red line in his own zone. Cross field to Fairbrother. Fairbrother back to Yarrow. Yarrow up the left side. D'Annunzio runs to catch up with it. And now it bounces away from him. Here comes Indiana back the other way, moving left to right, and a foul. D'Annunzio, I believe, took down Rich Ryerson.
It's hard to believe that a 5'6" guy can bring down a guy who stands much taller.
There's some acting involved there, Joel.
Well, that, you know, you can give him an Oscar or give him the foul. So I guess they gave him the foul on that.
Ryerson back to Kluba. Kluba and Indiana will scan the field, and now Balela is out there. Michael Collins marking him inside that Detroit zone. Balela comes out to assist Kluba. Left foot's up into the corner.
And you can see that
headed into the box, and Yarrow takes care of business. Up the right side, here's Chile.
You can see that Moreno got in behind the defense before Fairbrother could get to the ball. Was headed across the arc. That's a dangerous situation.
Mariano Balela with a foul on Chile. The first on Balela. 11-12 left to go in the first. Just underway here at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Glad you're along with us on this Friday night. The New Look Safari taking on the Indiana Twisters. The only game on the CISL docket tonight. That's why the commissioner is here. And we'll talk with Commissioner Ron Weinstein at halftime. Andy Chapman in the middle of the boards. Now Collins with a shot on net. Kluba, easy save. Quickly up. Here's Balela. Balela down the middle. Collins marking him and chasing him. Here's a shot, but blocked by Ben Powers. The big defender comes up big for Detroit. Here's Chile up the left side.
Indianapolis got into the type of game that they wanted to. They got transition game with Balela triggering their offense.
Neil Gilbert's got their offense 4-on-3 right now for Indiana. Into the left corner. Chris White gives chase. So does Indiana. Chile tries to get it out of harm's way, and he does. To the left side, here's Ben Powers. Powers up the left boards, finding Andy Chapman. Chapman posting up. Back to Collins, back to Chapman. Chapman off the boards, kicks it right side. Here's Chris White pinching in, past the red line. Now his shot off the glass and into the foot of Michael Collins, who watched it sail by.
Good defensive play by Ryerson there. He was able to get himself between the ball and Michael Collins as Chris White banked it off the boards right in front of the net.
Here's Balela trying to lead an Indiana break. Now he's past the red line, uncontested, still has control, falls down. Ben Power picks it up quickly up the left side. Matlack tried to chase up to it. Instead, Indiana gets back. Now White has it in the Detroit zone.
Well, you can really see how, even though he tripped and fell in that situation, how deceptive Balela can be with the ball. Changing pace, changing direction. Those are the keys to good dribbling.
Chris White to Greg Matlack. He kicks it out of bounds. 9:42 left to go in the first. Still scoreless here at the Palace between Detroit and Indiana. Back after this.
If you're looking for more than a minivan, more standard power, more towing capacity, even more room and comfort, you're looking for a Safari by GMC. And now it's the perfect time to lease.
You hear me now?
Right
during
now,
the game or not?
The game. For only
you can't hear anything I'm saying during the game?
36
Only
months.
through this way, not through my headphones. That's why I got one off. I got this
Get
one
a Safari
off.
now.
Did these guys know that?
Yeah.
See your GMC dealer today.
When we come out of a break,
Frank's Nursery and Crafts and Meadowbrook Music Festival at Oakland University welcomes world singing sensation Donna Lewis, Sunday, June 22nd at 8 p.m.
I can't hear anything.
Singer-songwriter Donna Lewis, Sunday, June 22nd. Tickets available at the Palace box office, and all Ticketmasters are charged by phone.
Welcome back to the Palace of Auburn Hills. Matt Shepard along with Joel Epstein. 9:42 left to go. In there pinching is Alejandro.
well, advantage could be called there by referee DiPolito because Snow broke past four players. He's got two open on the left side. Advantage would have been a good call there because the play could have kept going on. He got the ball where he wanted it.
Kenny Snow, third on the team in goal.
You could see Matlack fell back on that shot. That's why the ball went up in the air. He's kind of off balance when he took it. He has the ability, though, to ring him up rather quickly. He's got a very, very solid left foot. He can rocket shots, and we've seen him do it into the back of the net. You can see there's rust. There's rust on both sides here. Players knocking the ball one touch out of control.
For Detroit. Now back to Chris White. He's at midfield. White, nice move to get by Indiana. Now into the Indiana zone, but Kluba will take care of business there. There's a shot just wide. Kenny Snow came from nowhere to put a shot on Kluba, and it just went off the left dasher.
Well, Kenny Snow is so aware of where he is every time he's in the offensive end. He knows how to get his shot. He knows where the goal is.
Gareth O'Sullivan now in Indiana into the Detroit zone. O'Sullivan had it kicked away by White. Gathered in there by Neil Gilbert at midfield. Indiana making a last-minute change here.
They decided they're going to bring some offensive players into this game to try and get something accomplished.
Because they've got it in Detroit zone. Chile up the left side. Chapman there. Chapman with a shot just wide off the blue cross dasher. Boy, he had Terry Rowe beat.
And that's what you'll see out of Andy Chapman. He knows when to get his shot as well. Very accurate with his left foot.
Ben Powers, Ian Fairbrother, crossfield. Michael Collins coming in on the left side, trying to move around number 10, Gareth O'Sullivan. Now back to Fairbrother. Fairbrother punches it into Chapman. Chapman watched it go by, and now Bobby D'Annunzio has it at the midfield stripe. To Fairbrother, crossfield, Chile. Chile has it right side, up the left side. Bobby D'Annunzio pinches in past the red line, shot out of bounds, high off the glass.
D'Annunzio was trying to knock that ball off the glass to Chapman because the defender that was marking Chapman came to cover him, and that would have been an absolutely excellent opportunity for Chapman in front of the net.
Still scoreless, 7:40 left to go in the first. Back with more right after this.
Here's Andy Chapman on the loose, quickly pivoting and blasting his left foot. As the game goes on, he'll become more accurate at that, and he'll find that goal.
Joel, Andy Chapman wasn't really sure about his future. He came in a little out of shape, quite honestly, into this year's preseason for Paul Child, didn't he?
Well, he is played, as we mentioned before, this will be his 60th game. He's not missed a game. This guy is so tough. He had so many aches and pains last year.
Well, he's a professional. He knows when and what he needs to do in order to get himself into game shape, and he's ready tonight. Kenny Snow working against number 5, Neil Gilbert, for the ball, and now here comes Matlack out of the pack with it. Stolen right back by Emilio Soto. Soto up the right side. Alejandro Moreno, cross field. There he finds the big gun, Mariano Bolela. Bolela at midfield.
The Twisters are very high on number 18, Soto. He plays for the Honduran national team, and they brought him in just recently, and they really like the way he looks.
Now Ben Powers with a steal. It's a 3-on-3 break for Detroit. Matlack trying to get control of it. He does it with a header across the field, but stolen by Indiana. Now Bolela. Bolela working against Matlack on the left side, right in front of the Detroit bench. Now Indiana will slow it down at the midfield stripe. Good ball control there by the Twisters, and now Kluba comes out for assistance. Kenny Snow off for Detroit. And Paul Child makes the substitution. Back comes Superman Andy Chapman.
Chapman was just waiting He could have come on at any time, but he wanted to try and catch Zavala sleeping and pick the ball, pick his pocket.
Carlos Zavala, his pass intended for Bolela, but Bolela kicked it high and into the crowd, so Detroit will take over. 6:24 left to go in the first, still scoreless. Matt Shepard along with Joel Epstein. Glad you could join us on the season debut of Detroit Safari Soccer. And now triggered by Ian Fairbrother in his own zone. Up past midfield. Chile runs it down. Now Chapman trying to post up in the box. Headed into his zone and almost a shot. There's a shot off the top bar. Oh, Chile was knocking on the door, but Kluba got some help that time down.
Well, Chapman was knocking on the door too. Twisters very fortunate not to have a goal scored there. They let the back door wide open, and you can see Chapman and Chile charging through it.
Good pressure by Detroit, and now back comes Indiana. Here's Terry Rowe. There's a shot squeaked through on Yarrow, but Yarrow made a nice save. Fairbrother tries to clear it. Instead, it's kept into that Detroit zone by Indiana.
Fairbrother with some great dribbling there to knock that ball between two Twister players and be able to clear the zone.
Soto up the right side. Here's Scott Lawler. Scott Lawler. There's a shot on Yarrow, but he does a great job covering up in the box.
And you can see Yarrow coming out quickly, Matt. He comes out and cuts the angle before a player can really get a shot off. He's snuffing shots before they're being able to take them.
Bobby D'Annunzio up the left side. Left foots it to Chile. Oh, he just missed wide.
He hit it with the outside of his left foot. If that's Chile who got his foot on it, I'm not exactly sure. But if he did it with the outside of his left foot.
Might not have been Chile. Might have been an Indiana defender.
But you can see they're susceptible in the back now.
Chile another shot on goal, but blocked by one of the defenders of the Twisters. Ben Powers trying to regroup at midfield. Instead, he kicks it high and out of bounds.
He's claiming it was a deflection. Boy, Paul Child is really high on Ben Powers. He likes his strength. He's a big player. And he feels he'll fit in well with the veteran players because it'll bring his game up.
Indiana will trigger it just in front of their own bench. And again, out comes Kluba to help out. Chapman will put some mild pressure on him. Now the Twisters with Rich Ryerson up the right side. He right foots it toward the middle of the field. Now he gets it back. Chile will mark him. Now down in the right corner. Here's Gareth O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan back to Joe Callahan. Callahan off the boards, guarded closely by White. Chile comes up the left side with it. Left foots it, tries to get it by Ryerson. He does. Putting some pressure in, and now Chile goes down. Looks like he got a sharp rug burn, and Michael Collins comes out. Puts some pressure on the Indiana zone. Up the left side. Bolela toward the middle of the field. He finds Jose Luis Rojano. Bolela tries to give and go with Rojano. Here's a shot just wide of Yarrow. Tried to clear it. No, can't get it out of the box. Michael Collins picks it up. Calmly, coolly finds Fairbrother up the right side to Matlack.
Yarrow kicked that save. That was the second shot on him. He kicked out. Great save. You can see Bolela working with Moreno very closely on the give and go.
Now Indiana throws it into the left of Yarrow, or at right of Yarrow. Fairbrother helps out. Now Collins back to Fairbrother. Fairbrother with a nice kick toward Collins, but headed back into the Detroit zone by Indiana. Fairbrother tries to kick it out of harm's way, and he finds the middle circle. Kenny Snow there, guarded closely by number 5, Neil Gilbert. And here's another shot out of bounds.
You can see Collins was looking for Matlack on the left side. He had him wide open, but unfortunately, he played it over the side glass.
3:28 left to go in the first, still scoreless.
You can see the shot went wide of the post, coming off the foot.
That's Indiana's. It's really Indiana's first good chance tonight, isn't it, Joel? Detroit's had a couple. Chapman, Chile each with a couple, but Indiana, that's the only real pressure they've put on Yarrow so far. Detroit tries to break. Matlack to D'Annunzio, and up the right side, and Matlack is down, holding his right ankle.
We have a blue card. This will be a penalty against Indiana. Last season, Detroit was fairly successful at the power play.
Matlack limps off.
They were at 38, just under 39%. And Indianapolis was dead last in penalty killing at 42%. Matlack breaking out, hot in pursuit. What happened, the reason this foul was called is because Ryerson left his feet and slid into him. That's why they get the foul call, the blue penalty.
Detroit's power play about 39% a year ago. About middle of the pack of the CISL. So hopefully they can try to get something here.
And
they put some pressure on Kluba so far, and they'd like to cash in here.
And you've got Michael Collins, who will join Ian Fairbrother, Chile, Andy Chapman, and Kenny Snow. Collins will play as a defender in this alignment. He usually plays in the midfield.
Fairbrother right side. Fairbrother finds Kenny Snow on the left side. Kenny Snow with a shot, but a save by Kluba. Chile takes care of it now to Fairbrother. Collins has it, middle of the field.
Chile switching that ball smartly to Fairbrother. He knows there was an opening there.
Fairbrother tries to find Kenny Snow on the left side, but Snow watches it go off the dasher. Chile gets it to Collins. Collins to Fairbrother. And Detroit on the power play. They have a 5-on-4 right now, and up comes Yarrow to help out.
And the key here for the Safari is possession. They've kept possession. They've kept control of the ball, and they can get something accomplished with that.
Here's Chapman. Turnaround shot blocked by Indiana. Chapman keeps it in. Keeps it in the Detroit zone. Fairbrother backs up, finds Collins, center circle. Collins back to Yarrow. 40 seconds left to go with a man advantage. 2:07 left to go in the first. Still scoreless. Safari and twisters here at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Left side finds Chile. Chile inside the right marker, or the red line, I should say. Collins right side to Fairbrother. Fairbrother finds Kenny Snow. Kenny Snow works his way around, back to Fairbrother. They're pinching in on Kenny Snow, and he was wisely found Fairbrother out at the right point. Now Fairbrother winds up, kick, shot wide. Chile keeps it in. Inside the red line, finds Michael Collins. Michael Collins will work his way right side, finds Fairbrother. Shot saved by Kluba. Chapman follow up, another save. Indiana tries to kick it out of harm's way. They can't. And now they do. Clearing it up the right side and out of bounds.
And you can see that ball was loose. Kluba could not hold that shot. Scramble in front. And a player, I believe it was Ryerson down there, who was able to sit on his backside and knock the ball out from that position.
$1:25 left to go in the first. 15 seconds left to go in the man advantage. Oh, there's a bad giveaway by Michael Collins. Blocked by Fairbrother, though, to keep it into the Detroit zone. Here's Chile. Chile and Michael Collins exchanging passes. Chile tries to go around an Indiana defender, but can't. And now it's pinned up against the boards. And a whistle.
Hold on.
And Indiana was able to kill off the first penalty of the season. But I see another blue card being held by the official.
Scott Lawler, along with Rich Ryerson, were down there pinning Chile up against the boards. We'll see where the foul goes.
It looks like Chile is going to be going into the box. Yes, it is.
So, and here's Juan.
You can see that he's coming from behind and takes his left foot.
And he takes down Scott Lawler there.
Was that Lawler?
And Chile gave him a little extra shove for good measure. So now it's Indiana.
That's a quick turnaround, Matt.
Yep.
Now we're going to have a situation where the Safari are going to have to be able to kill off a penalty. Very unusual. You don't see that too often in indoor soccer.
Well, Indiana now with 40% a year ago as far as power play efficiency will now get a chance to see how they may go up against a Detroit Safari team that did very, very well when they were a man short a year ago, didn't they?
They were in third place as the season ended in the regular season. They had 63.6%. They were able to kill off penalties. So now you'll have Jason Davis, who gets his first exercise of the evening, along with Bobby D'Annunzio, Mike Power, Ben Powers, and Chris White. All four defenders.
What's Jose Espinoza telling his guys right now?
He's telling them what we're going to try and do is pull out the defense, create space behind them. He's going to try and have them spread out the defense. The defense will play in a diamond formation.
Well, let's see if he can get the pressure that Detroit got when they had the man advantage. Ian Fairbrother applying it.
Ian Fairbrother taking the ball right off the volley. Kluba cannot hold that ball. Chapman comes in, is stuffed, and that's when, I'm not sure if it was Ryerson.
Neil Gilbert was helping out.
Gilbert who was able to kick the ball out.
So Detroit out there with Ben Powers, Bobby D'Annunzio, Chris White, and it looks like Jason Davis is out there for the first time tonight. This is the lineup that Paul Child said he would go to if he had a man down. Bolela in the Indiana, setting up their offense in the Detroit zone. Just outside the red line, moving left to right. 52 seconds left to go in the quarter. Here's a shot, actually a pass off the boards, but it doesn't get through on Yarrow. Now Bolela has it left side. Dribbles, working it, works it left side. Quick left shot blocked by Chris White. Now Bolela comes up. Bobby D'Annunzio with a good steal. There's a takedown almost by Bolela.
And that is a blue card.
A foul.
That is a blue card. DiPolito referee calls a blue card against Bolela. So here we go. The blonde-headed Baleda, captain of the Twisters, will go into the box for holding, and this will even things up. But there'll be a lot of space out there. 4v4.
Baleda, the biggest threat. I mean, here's a guy who was 5th in the league in scoring, I believe, a year ago, and this is where he took down Bobby D'Annunzio. Bobby D'Annunzio with good positioning from a body standpoint to get himself in the position where Baleda was prone to foul him.
That's right. He got the ball past him. Outdoors, that might have been a call against D'Annunzio because he was showing what would have been his cleats outdoor. Here it's a flat surface, obviously. But he did have his leg up awful high.
So he's off for holding at 14-26, so we're even for a while. Now there's a kick over the Indiana bench and out of bounds.
So we have a midfielder and attacker and 2 defenders for the Safari with Fairbrother D'Annunzio in the back. Chapman up top with Michael Collins in the middle.
Fairbrother will trigger it, make it Michael Collins. Finds Fairbrother right side. Now back to Yarrow in the Detroit zone. Yarrow comes out, dribbles it, kicks it left side, finds Bobby D'Annunzio. Up the left side, stolen by Indiana.
Man wide open in the middle if they can get it to him.
Yep, they couldn't though, and here's Gilbert. Gilbert up the left side toward the middle. Good job by Yarrow to come out into the box and scoop it up before Indiana can apply any pressure. Fairbrother back to Yarrow, who will be part of this offense. 4 seconds left to go in the first. And Indiana able to clear it out of harm's way as time expires. We've played 15 minutes, the first 15 of this soccer game, still scoreless. We're back with more right after this between Detroit and Indiana. Stay with us. Friend, who is now in Sacramento.
I wonder what he's doing now.
That's the intensity that he brought to the table. Paul Child's got a bunch of guys right now, very, very professional. They've got a pretty good job of blending experience and youth. And I tell you what, soccer brings just about everything. Ben Powers winds up, and this is a reason why you got to be on the lookout at all time. Point.
Right in the kisser.
Oh, go back to the concession line and find another.
Right, and she's dumped her. Oh,
all
my
over the
goodness.
Brand new pants.
It couldn't be any worse than that, could it?
Can you believe it? Hey, folks, don't forget tonight, following our broadcast, the Detroit Vipers gunning for their first ever Turner Cup. They got a 3-1 lead on Long Beach, looking for the knockout on the road tonight. First quarter stats.
You can see that both teams are up in the number of fouls. Safari pressuring the Twisters more and getting more shots off, many more shots.
All right, just underway here in the second quarter. Matt Shepard along with Joel Epstein. Glad you could join us on this Friday night. Detroit, after tonight's game, will take a week's rest when they take off to Houston for a date with the Hotshots. Always a tough matchup, especially at the Summit in Houston, Texas. They switch sides. Detroit will move left to right. Indiana, the opposite. On your TV screen, John Kluba comes out to help out with Neil Gilbert on the left side.
We're still 4v4, Matt. Double penalty situation here. This is unusual to see. There's a lot of space to roam around out there. A fast player up top can make a big difference here.
Yeah, when Detroit gets their man out of the box, they will have about 30 seconds with a man advantage. Indiana pressuring right side. Now the Twisters trying to set up their offense, and they look content, rather, to while out the clock, and they do that. Now Detroit with a man advantage for 30 seconds. And yet Indiana's the one putting the pressure on. Rolls just in front of the Detroit net, but Yarrow got a break there, and Fairbrother comes over to help out. Now Yarrow up past the midfield stripe. Chile runs to catch up to it, but he won't catch Indiana as Gilbert gets it back to Kluba. Now Gilbert has it left side. Up the left side into the Detroit zone. Bobby D'Annunzio applying all kinds of pressure there to Joe Callahan. Now here's Rojanio. Rojanio back to Baleda. Baleda with Chapman out on him. That's a good matchup right there. Baleda and Chapman, two of the better players in this league. Baleda has it right corner. Now he's back to Ryerson. Ryerson in front of that Indiana bench. Back to Kluba. And Indiana does a good job of killing off the 30 seconds of Detroit's man advantage. Second time they've gotten Detroit to go scoreless with that man advantage.
They really kept possession of the ball, would not allow the Safari to take control and work their will.
Zabela into the left corner. Here's Scott Lawler. Lawler has it pinned up with Bobby D'Annunzio. Now Fairbrother comes over to help out. Centers it, and Indiana now with a steal. There's a left-footed kick Deflected just wide and high. Chili off the glass. Tries to get it to center field. Michael Collins watches it roll by. Here's Rahanyo. Rahanyo into the right corner, looking for Bolela, but he kicks it out of bounds. Break for Detroit. The Safari will take over, moving left to right.
Rahanyo had an opportunity to shoot the ball. He was between the arc and the red line. Instead, he decided to pass to Bolela. He was right in front of the goal, had some space and time. He could have blasted one there.
Chris White, Bobby McGill, Ben Powers, Kenny Snow, and Greg Matlack out there for Paul Child's club. 12:20 left to go in the half. Stay with us at halftime. A couple of features, including an interview with Ron Weinstein, the commissioner of the CISL. Ben Powers scrambling for it. Indiana with Terry Rowe putting pressure on Yarrow, who comes out to help out. Now here's a breakaway of sort. Kenny Snow, the shot just wide. Kluba watched that one sail just ahead to his left.
It's that pivot man situation, man. It's that pivot man situation where you have Kenny Snow isolated up top. If he's able to turn and defeat that one defender, he's on his way.
Chris White will trigger it for Detroit, just in front of that Safari bench. He works it into the left corner. McGill, in that left corner. Back to White. White trying to work around Terry Rowe, stolen by Indiana. Indiana moving right to left, back the other way past midfield. Ben Powers is back for Detroit. Londono has it now with control, dribbling left side. There he finds Callahan. Callahan centers it to O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan back to Soto. Soto right foots it right side. There's Callahan. Callahan working around Powers, and we've got a whistle.
Foul against Powers, but you can see the 1v1 defense is working for the Safari. They're not getting beat up top.
Especially with Ben Powers. There's a shot to score. Oh! I think they shocked Yarrow. Powers and Matlack were trying to mark number 12 Callahan, and instead his right foot knocked it right to the left of Yarrow.
Right through the wall, it looked like. We'll see the replay, I'm sure. You have to wonder, you've got a guy who stands 6'3" and weighs 185 pounds. He's not in the wall. You want to make your wall as big as possible. You can see Chris White, who I'm referring to right now, standing up top, watching sort of the far post in the middle of the arc there.
I think Yarrow was surprised that the ball was put in play so quickly.
Well, I think he was ready. I think that the wall let the ball go free. You had two fairly inexperienced players, Ben Powers in the wall and Greg Matlack.
So Indiana draws first blood. Detroit pressures back the other way on Kluba, but it rolls through the crease. There's a shot right on, and Kluba takes one in the gut for the save.
Yeah, Matlack with the right foot. He's a left-footed player, but you got a good right-footed shot there. Now you'll see the game pace pick up. Now the Safari are going to play a little more desperate with a little more meaning here.
Indiana leading 1-0 with 10:40 left to go in the first half. Andy Chapman tries to pressure Kluba, but an easy save for the goalkeeper, and he right arms it up the left side.
And we're going end to end at this point. That was a great pass from Yarrow to Chapman, and now the Twisters bring it right back down on the Safari.
Rahanyo back to Ryerson. Ryerson left foots it across field to Gilbert. Gilbert will slowly and patiently walk it up, staring at Andy Chapman. Gilbert dribbles between Collins and Matlack. Finds it in the right corner. Matlack steals. Left foots it up the left side. Chapman guarded closely by Bolela, couldn't get to it. Now Terry Rowe back to Bolela in the Indiana zone. Fairbrother marking him. Now Bolela. And it comes to Kluba. Kicks it up the left side. Ball worked its way toward Bolela. Bolela in the middle of the field. Fairbrother comes after him. Here's a shot just wide, partially blocked by D'Annunzio. Ryerson winds up. Good save by Yarrow. Follow up, blocked by Collins. Now Bolela has it. Left foots it. Another block, and a great save by Bobby D'Annunzio. Yarrow out of position. D'Annunzio there for the help. Now Bolela, cross field. Oh, there's an easy goal for Indiana. Boy, the Twisters, all kinds of pressure. And number 9, Alejandro Moreno, made them pay.
Yarrow made 2 or 3 great saves running from one side of the net to the other. His defense helped him one time. Bobby D'Annunzio making a block that got past him. You can see here, Bolela will possess this ball.
Well, D'Annunzio in the box, and so is Michael Collins. Earlier, D'Annunzio had made a great save. And then they watch Balela take over as Fairbrother tried to pressure. Terry Rowe is in the corner there, pressured by a couple.
Got the ball to Balela.
Great
swung
assist.
it to Moreno, wide open.
Wide open.
Well, you dream about having that type of an opportunity.
And he plays the crowd just a little bit. So Moreno cashes in, giving Indiana a 2-0 lead with 9.5 left to go in the half. So Paul Child looking at his guys, asking them to pick up the tempo just a little bit. He trails by 2. 9:31 left to go in the half. We're back with more right after this.
If you're looking for more than a minivan, more standard power, more towing capacity, even more room and comfort, you're looking for a Safari by GMC. And now it's the perfect time to lease. Because right now you can lease Safari for only $299 a month for 36 months. Get more than a minivan. Get a Safari now. See your GMC dealer today.
For everything in the world of soccer, there's Soccer World. Soccer World specializes in the best soccer equipment and sportswear. And Soccer World is known for their incredible selection of footwear and service. Their staff can put you into the cleat that best suits your style of play, including Adidas, Nike, Lotto, Lanzera, and many more. Make your soccer connection at Soccer World on 5 Mile west of Farmington in Livonia and at the corner of 14 Mile and DeQuinder in Sterling Heights.
Hey kids, want to make this summer vacation the best ever? Then sign up for a Detroit Pistons basketball camp. Learn to dribble, shoot, and pass like the pros. Win all sorts of prizes and awards, such as the Grant Hill MVP Award. The Pistons Training Camp Tour makes its way through the state this summer. Call the camp hotline to reserve your spot in our starting lineup. Registration forms available at the Palace locker room stores and participating dealers. The Pistons thanks supporting sponsors Nike and Blue Cross Blue Shield.
And glad you're back with us on this Friday night. Welcome back to the Palace. Matt Shepard along with Joel Epstein. Indiana 2, Detroit nothing on goals by Rajano and by Morano. Alejandro Morano had 26 a year ago for Indiana. Now with his first, giving Indiana a 2-0 lead with 9.5 left to go in the half. Detroit needs to pressure Klubo a little bit more. They have not been able to do that but a couple of times by Chile and by Andy Chapman.
Unusual to see this season that they're getting off to a slow start in the second quarter. Last year they ruled the second quarter, did the Safari. They were able to outscore their opponents at home 21-15.
Detroit really struggled in the first quarter, but did a better job in the second quarter last year. That's still no excuse. They want to start putting pressure on Kluba and controlling the ball a little bit more. That's what Paul Child wanted to do. Instead, Indiana's taking care of business.
Excuse me, they need better interior defense right in front of the goal. And they also need somebody to step up in the midfield and take control for them.
Bobby McGill is out there along with Ben Powers. Instead, Indiana comes out of the pack with it. They try to pressure Yarrow, who comes up with a big save. The pressure applied by Blackburn. And we've got a whistle on the field as Kenny Snow was trying to take some action in the right corner. Or along the right side, I should say.
There's a blue card for 6 men on the field. And you can see Jorge Espinoza is upset about that. Especially considering that he's marking one of the doors.
Yeah. Well, immediately assuming that it will go against his ball club. You know, you talked at the beginning, Joel, and I think you hit it right on the head. When you talk about Indiana, you got to look at Balela, you got to look at Moreno, you look at Terry Rowe too. But Rajano is a solid player, had 21 points, 11 goals, 10 assists a year ago. But again, Balela's the guy who set it up. Here's the guy who's taking control of the soccer ball and putting it in a position for his teammates to put pressure on Yarrow.
He's a very unselfish player. That's why he was second in the league with assists. But he also had a lot of goals. He does have the potential to score goals. He's a fantastic talent. He's been playing year-round indoor now. Here's a third opportunity for the Safari to get their power play up and running. Balela going to the box to serve the penalty. Balela goes to the box for the Twisters to serve the 2-minute penalty.
So Detroit with a man advantage. Michael Collins is out there along with Ian Fairbrother, Andy Chapman, Kenny Snow, and Carlos Farias, who's still by the Detroit bench as Fairbrother gets set to trigger it. Along the right side. Again, Detroit moving left to right. 8:34 left to go in the first half. The Twisters have a 2-0 lead. This is where Detroit needs to put some pressure on. Collins watches it sail to Farias, left side. Now back to Collins midfield. Finds Chapman posting up. Oh, and he's tripped from behind. There's a foul.
And Kenny Snow is all by himself by Kluba. There's not a defender. As soon as Andy Chapman receives the ball, basically you have 2 finishers, 2 post-up men in the game. Michael Collins will trigger this.
Chile with a shot left foot right on Kluba. Didn't have a whole lot on that, and Kluba comes up with a big save.
No, he didn't get anything on that one, unfortunately, for the Safari, because that was a great opportunity. A nice pass, nice setup from Michael
Collins. Not a bad setup at all. You're right about that. Here's Chapman. Will find Yarrow in the box. Yarrow right foots it, left side, Chile. Chile back to Yarrow, or to Michael Collins, who comes over to help out. Now back to Yarrow. Yarrow up the left side. Fairbrother heads it back to Collins. Collins crossfield to Chile. Chile works his way around a couple of Indiana defenders, and now he's at the midfield circle. Back to Collins. Collins will bring it past the midfield stripe left side. There's Chile with a left foot shot. Oh, he hit the post.
Hit the far post, right on the ground. He screamed a left footer quickly. He's wide open there on the left side.
Now a shot by Indiana into the right corner. 57 seconds left in Detroit's power play. 7.5 left to go in the half. Chile left side, left foots it up in the right corner. Fairbrother with a header right on. An easy save there for Kluba. Now Chile comes back to help out, and he kicks it out of bounds.
He was hoping Fairbrother was to get that ball across to Kenny Snow, who was hanging around on the left side there.
Another look at that shot by Chile, just missed.
And he scored a lot of goals like that, and he'll have more opportunities in this game.
2-0, Indiana leads it. 7:15 left to go in the half. We're back with more of Detroit Safari Soccer right after this. Folks, enjoy your summer under the stars at Pine Knob with these spectacular concerts like Wayne Newton on Sunday, Frank's Nursery and Crafts 3-Dog Night in America on the 19th, and then Randy Travis on the 27th. To reserve your tickets, you can call the Palace box office at 810-377-0100 or any Ticketmaster center. Actually now 248 in the area code instead of 810 now. Everything gets messed up now with all many phone lines and things like that. Neither here nor there. The Palace and Pine Knob, a great place to catch not only sports but also all kinds of musical entertainment. Just underway or back from the break, under 7 minutes to go here in the first half. Indiana 2, Detroit nothing. The Safari still with the man advantage. Chile finds Chapman, score! Great shot from the right side. Chile with a beautiful assist, and Andy Chapman has career goal number 75 in a Detroit uniform.
This will be the first time you're going to see this. You'll see this throughout the season. The Safari have so much offensive talent, it makes it difficult to mark all their players. Chile brings the ball down, and he's thinking, well, they're thinking maybe he's going to shoot this ball, so I got to give him a little space, and then I'm going to come up close on him.
They didn't know Chapman was a sleeper behind on the far right post. Chile keeps his head up the whole time and spots him, finds Chapman, and Chapman knows where the bank is.
Andy Chapman from Carlos Farias, and Michael Collins started it back in his own zone with a nice pass up past the midfield stripe to Chile, who finds Superman on the right side, and he makes Indiana pay. First goal of the season at 8:14 draws Detroit within one of Indiana's lead. It's now 2-1 with 6:35 left to go in the half. Andy Chapman, the leading goal scorer for this Detroit franchise the last 2 seasons. One of just a handful of guys to score over 600 goals in his indoor career. Puts Detroit on the board. How appropriate. Now a turnover. Matlack with a shot, and a great save by Kluba, because Matlack had some sting on that baby.
Well, he was using the outside of his left foot there. He was trying to bend the ball around Kluba into the far upper post. But he didn't get exactly the way he wanted it, and Kluba was out in good position there to be able to receive that one. I think this is the way Paul Child drew it up. You got Michael Collins to Chile to Chapman. That's the way he envisioned things would work on the power play for the Safari this season.
So Detroit 1 of 3 with a man advantage. And Kluba has it toward midfield to set up the Indiana offense. He will slowly roll it. Kenny Snow will back way off toward the red line.
Which means that the Safari are going to low pressure. They're going to pack in their defense and allow the Twisters an opportunity here, but they don't want anybody getting behind them. They've done a nice job, for most part, keeping the Twisters from penetrating into the arc.
Here's Chris White along with Jimmy McGill and Kenny Snow. Greg Matlack is out there, and Ben Powers. Indiana pressuring now up the right side. McGill now will take the Twister off the ball. And now it's set up by Soto. Soto into the right side. Indiana with a shot. Great save by Yarrow as he came up in the box. Moreno was bidden for another goal, and this one is kicked aside and out of bounds. Moreno again putting pressure on Yarrow, but Yarrow was up to the challenge.
Yarrow has definitely stepped up from the preseason as we thought he would, and is playing a whale of a ball game. Moreno with a shot, and it's just deflected out. He can't hold it, but now you see Moreno working past Powers. Powers goes for the fake as the ball is looped over the top of him. Moreno gets a left-footed shot away.
Zavela finds Balela up the left side. McYo shadowing him and doing a good job of it. Here's Zavela. Zavela with a shot, and it's high. And out of bounds. So Detroit will take over. 4:46 left to go in the first half.
Real important for the Safari here, Matt, to get on the board and tie this game going into halftime. That means the momentum is totally shifted if they're able to accomplish that.
Twisters 2, Safari 1, and Yarrow wings it up the right side, finding Andy Chapman, but it goes a little long for him. That's a 3-line pass. Indiana back the other way.
And that's an early season mistake, you might say. You probably won't see that in the later season as Yarrow is able to measure the distance with his arm a little better as time goes on here, but this gives Terry Rowe and his Twister Ball Club an opportunity on a dead ball situation. Look for Blackburn on the right or Gilbert on the left. He's got Ryerson behind him. All can shoot the ball.
So Rowe will trigger it. Chapman, Collins, Farias in front of him. Right at the top of the arc. Rowe swings it left side. Ryerson with a kick high and way wide and way high.
Yeah, that's something that they didn't want at all. They want to keep the ball in play because they've got all their attackers down in position in case that ball is deflected and they're able to get back on it. They'll get a good shot on it and make Yarrow make a save.
That's poor execution right there.
It is. I'm sure that Jorge Espinoza is not pleased with that free kick opportunity. That's a golden opportunity to get something in the net.
Or at least put the pressure on. Now Chapman pressuring Kluba. That time Yarrow, as you said, Joel, did not throw that 3-line pass, but did get it up to Andy Chapman just before the red line. Detroit pressuring in the right corner, but Indiana comes out with it. Quickly up the left side. Now look at Bobby D'Annunzio doing a great job shadowing Blackburn. Blackburn finds Ryerson. He'll tee it up. Kicked aside by Fairbrother into the control by Farias. Now Collins up the left side. Collins working his way in toward the left dashers. Into that left corner. Now D'Annunzio, crossfield to Fairbrother at the red line. He'll kick it, and it'll be knocked down by Gilbert.
Well, he had a lot of time there to tee that one up. You think he might use glass there, try and knock the ball right out in front of the goal and create an opportunity for his teammates.
Chile to Chapman, who heads it towards Kluba, who comes out of his box and Kicks it toward the midfield stripe. D'Annunzio will gather up and give it off to Fairbrother, who goes cross field to Yarrow. Back to D'Annunzio up the right side. D'Annunzio into the right corner. Collins chases with Ryerson. Collins comes and score! Nice shot by Andy Chapman. They couldn't gather it up. Bad play by John Kluba in the box, and Andy Chapman came from nowhere. He came from the left side and pounded it home. They'll give the assist to Michael Collins, and Andy Chapman has his second goal of the game. It's Andy 2, the Twisters 2.
This was all Michael Collins. Busting past Ryerson. Chapman is always going to be standing in position to score. Rarely is he out of position when the ball's in the offensive end. Michael Collins knows he's coming off the boards. He gets himself between the goalkeeper and his defender and dogs that ball down, knocks it right in front to Chapman, who finishes it. Now you've got the two players that Paul Child has acquired, feeding the guy who's been the long-standing star of this team, and that's how Child knew it could be and has proven in the first half of the first part of this season to be.
And they listened to Joel Epstein, more importantly, because they got that tying goal before the break.
Let's see if they can hold it or maybe take the lead here. Just momentum shifted.
Nick Yo is on the left board, and he's battling hard for it. You got to love the effort from this guy. Now Matlack, give and go with Snow. Snow shot wide. Detroit with all kinds of pressure. Doing a great job as we come close to the end of the half. 2:45.
Kenny Snow would have passed that ball, but it got stuck underneath him, so he had to shoot it because that's the only angle he had left.
Did a pretty good job of getting off a quality shot then. And another foul in the Indiana zone.
Good back pressure by Snow, but he did trip his Twister player.
Now Kluba will walk it up. 2-2 with 2.5 left to go in the half. Andy Chapman has both goals for Detroit, but as Joel pointed out, the two of the new guys, major factors in the assists, Chile and Michael Collins. Indiana in the Detroit zone. Out comes Kenny Snow with it to the midfield, and now left side to Chris White. White to Collins. Collins touch pass from Matlack, who tried to center it for Snow, but it didn't get through. Now another whistle. Don't forget on July 18th when Tattoo and the Dallas Sidekicks come to town. The first 5,000 fans are going to receive a George of the Jungle poster, compliments of Walt Disney Pictures. Join us on July 18th, Detroit and Dallas. The first 5,000 fans get that George of the Jungle poster, and it's compliments of our good friends at Walt Disney Pictures. 1:55 left to go in the first half. Detroit 2, Indiana 2.
Here you'll see Soto making a long run down the right side. He receives the ball from Rojano, and he's left all by himself with the goalkeeper. He sneaks it in near side.
So Indiana now back on top, 3-2. The goal by Soto, his first of the ball game, first of the season. A new addition to this Indiana team from a year ago.
The Honduran national player, very skilled soccer player, and you can see the new faces on both teams are paying dividends for both coaches.
Yarrow out of the box, up the left side, so Indiana goes back on top. Detroit with still some time to try and get back even. And now a whistle in the Indiana zone as Bobby D'Annunzio, I believe, will get called for the foul, pulling down Blackburn from behind.
He'll be going to the box.
So you hate to close the half down a man.
He'll start the second half down a man as well for a few seconds, but the situation with the momentum being tossed back and forth, the Twisters getting that goal to go back out on top, and a penalty. Here's another opportunity to make it a 2-goal game just before the half.
1:39 left to go in the half. Indiana now has a 3-2 lead. They were up 2-zip early, and Detroit fought their way back on a couple of goals from Andy Chapman. But now Indiana goes back on top with a goal from Nelson Soto, the 5'9", 150-pound defender. And it's a 1-goal lead for the Twisters. Detroit's in Houston a week from tonight for game number 2.
And then they've got to go to Monterey. Right after that, the champs to visit them at their home. So they'll be spending next weekend down south.
No one said it would be easy. Indiana putting the pressure on. Here's Rowe in the corner. Marked by Fairbrother, and now in Detroit tries to get it out of the zone. They can't. Good block by Fairbrother is, again, the Twisters trying to create some traffic in front of Yarrow.
You can see how smart Yarrow is. He came out of his area, but he used his feet. This young man thinks he can keep it over. He tosses it back. He uses his feet when he comes out of the arc to stop and cut the angle and stop Terry Rowe in that situation. He's aware of where he is at all times.
Detroit down a man. Fairbrother is out there with White, Chapman, and Jason Davis.
They make a shift in their penalty kill when they have the ball. They're trying to get Andy Chapman out because you get odd man situations.
Oh, Jason Davis with a nice feed in the box. Chapman was there ready for it, but Kluba wisely came out quickly and took care of business. 105, the ball gets behind Yarrow, who picks it up in the box.
We've got a call here against the Safari.
What do we got?
I take it back. It's against the Twisters. Must have been a handball call.
So Ian Fairbrother will trigger it for Detroit. Terry Rowe staring at him. He'll find Yarrow up the right side, who punches it into the left corner. There's Chapman trying to post up. It's headed toward the goal, and Kluba swats it away.
That's what Chapman does to you. You got to knock that ball away desperately when the ball's in that situation.
Look out here. Balela leads a 3-on-3 break. Good right pass down the right side to Rahanyo. Back to Balela. Top of the circle. Oh, there's a missed kick by number 9, Moreno.
Moreno whiffed on that shot. He had Yarrow by himself there as the seconds tick off.
30 seconds. It looks like Yarrow wants to call a timeout. 28 seconds left to go in the first half. Detroit trailing by a goal. It's 3-2 Indiana.
You got to wonder why Yarrow is calling time here. I think what they're going to try and do is set up a play, try and isolate Andy Chapman, and see if they can sneak one past and tie this game as they go into halftime.
Yarrow, who was bringing up the rear in the league last year with a goals average of 7.03, but was 7-10. And, you know, this year I think he's got the renewed confidence that you need to be a goalkeeper.
The interesting thing about the Twisters is they have no backup goalkeeper signed. They've been working on a goalkeeper who plays for a team in the NPSL, but they've not come to terms with him. So they come here with no backup goalkeeper. I'm not exactly sure if they get into a six-man situation, sixth attacker, who their goal, it might be Balela because he's probably the best athlete on their team. Could be one of the other players, but a lot of times it's a guy like Balela who knows the game so well and plays it so well. So what you'll see coming out of this timeout is Safari looking to isolate Andy Chapman. They brought Chris White in to play up top to try and get his head in. They're going to try and skip the ball over Moreno. Chris White will try and head it back to Chapman as he stands near Kluba, the Twisters goalkeeper.
Yarrow finds White, who touches it back into the Indiana zone. Now Chapman pressuring, and it goes to Kluba. Kluba up to Balela left side. Now Indiana will work it toward the midfield stripe, and they get a by. Balela left side. Here's number 2, Zavela. Zavela with a shot.
Banked off of Terry Rowe's chest.
Terry Rowe and in.
That's a great play by Terry Rowe. He gave up his body for the ball. You can see he winced a little bit, but he was left by himself. The Safari did not compact their 4 players defensively. They let them be spread out and let that far post be open. There was no help for Yarrow there as they go up 2 goals just before halftime.
Boy, it really hurts when you get one before the break.
It's a hip shot.
Boy, he was right there on the corner. Not a whole lot Yarrow could do about that. Terry Rowe, with 16 goals a year ago, now has 1.
I just wonder, I wonder if that was going in without his help. I bet it wouldn't. It probably would have hit the post. But Terry Rowe with a very heads-up play there. And you know that he wants to do some damage to his old club here, the Safari.
No question. You got 3 guys in the box, or there were actually 3 guys rather for Detroit in the box. Chris White, Ian Fairbrother, but Rowe able to sneak behind White to give Indiana a 2-goal lead. The horn sounds as another shot goes just wide by Moreno, who has 1 goal. Terry Rowe. Balela has been a factor, and Indiana has to feel good. They've doubled up Detroit at the break. 4-2. Andy Chapman with both goals for the Safari, but it's not enough so far. 4-2, Indiana leads it. Back with more in our halftime festivities from the Palace of Auburn Hills right after this. Stay with us.
If you're looking for more than a minivan, more standard power, more towing capacity, even more room and comfort, you're looking for a Safari by GMC. And now, it's the perfect time to lease. Because right now, you can lease Safari for only $299 a month for 36 months. Get more than a minivan. Get a Safari now. See your GMC dealer today.
Hi, I'm Brad Shaw. If you want a uniform company that protects the crease while offering great service, flexibility, and innovation, then you want Arrow Uniform.
Arrow eliminates uniform shortages. Imagine doing laundry for 3 Viper sellout crowds every day with no missing garments. Arrow cleans, sorts, and returns all of your company's uniforms right the first time, every time.
Learn more about the service that will keep you and your company looking good on the job.
When the diagnosis is cancer, the journey for hope begins. And that's why St. Joseph Mercy Oakland is the best partner you can have for hope, health, and healing. State-of-the-art technology in the hands of caring professionals right in your neighborhood. For more information or a free cancer risk assessment, call our cancer hotline at 800-344-6476. There are many kinds of care, but only one kind that's mercy.
Frank's Nursery and Crafts in Pine Knob presents 2 nights, 3 hot bands, June 19th. Three Dog Night, same night, America. Then July 8th, get ready for Huey Lewis and the News. Pine Knob Music Theater heats up. The night with Huey Lewis and the News, live in concert. Tickets at the Palace and Pine Knob box offices, all Ticketmasters, or by fall. June 19th, 3 Dog Night in America. July 8th, Huey Lewis.
Shepard along with Joel Epstein. Detroit trailing Indiana after the first 30 minutes of play. 4-2 Twisters on some late goals really is what hurt them, Joel.
Some late goals. The Safari were able to come back on the strength of Andy Chapman's 2 goals, but then they let the Twisters back out on top. Tough going into halftime, giving up 2 quick goals there.
Big night, though, for Andy Chapman, Superman, who got to one of those goals from Chile, another goal from Michael Collins, and Michael Collins now joins us live downstairs at the Palace. Michael, thanks for taking time. We appreciate it very much. A pretty big night for you so far. Really, you set up the first one going to Chile, and then the second one you set up Andy Chapman quite nicely.
Yeah, I think that our power play unit, I mean, we're 1 for 2. I think that worked actually pretty well. It's a rough going out there. They look like they're a lot more organized in a lot of different situations than we are. I think that we're just kind of getting used to each other. Again, like I spoke to you guys earlier, Andy Chapman to me is the epitome of a target player. He's very opportunistic, and anything you can get in around the box, if you can just nip something off the board or get him a ball that's, I mean, even a 30% chance, he's going to find a way to put the ball away. And I think that it was great how I thought it showed a lot that we came back 2-2. And I'm actually a little bit disappointed, but not totally at the halftime result.
Well, let's get right to it, Michael. What's going to take in the second half for you guys to climb back into a tie and take the lead and beat these guys?
Well, I think that, you know, I would be really, really distraught if we weren't getting opportunities. But, I mean, it looks like, you know, Greg Matlack, Kenny Snow, myself, Chile, Andy, I mean, these guys, we're getting opportunities. So that, to me, I think we just have to be a little bit more composed in those situations and put the ball away instead of just maybe rattling a shot. I mean, we took 2 really errant shots and it went right to the goalkeeper. You can't do stuff like that with Indianapolis. They're a very high-powered counter-attack team, and I think if we can slow the pace down and make good on these opportunities, you'll see a good outcome for us in the end.
Michael, talk about the goal that you set up for Andy Chapman, and I know you did both because I thought you started the first one in your own zone, but talk about that second one, setting up Andy on the doorstep.
Well, I actually, Bobby D'Annunzio got the ball deep in our red zone, and he was coming up past midfield, and I wanted him to play the ball down the boards as quickly as he could, and it seemed like it kind of got away from him a little bit, and then he kind of poked it And I think the big number 5 defender for them, I saw out of the corner of my eye that Andy was in the box. The whole time I was looking to try and, I mean, that was my idea from the get-go, to try and get Andy the ball, obviously. It makes my job easier when you get it to Andy. But I just tried to get my foot to it off the boards, and the guy thought it was going to just roll into the keeper, and the keeper thought, I think, that number 5 was going to maybe play it out or play it to him. And they got caught in no man's land. I just played it off the boards, and that's one of those ones that's, I'll say thanks very much. That's kind of a giveaway, but I'll have to earn the rest of them for the rest of the evening.
Michael, you played this game a long time. How much does it hurt losing right now 4-2, but more importantly, being down, giving up those 2 late goals?
I think to a certain extent it's just psychologically a little bit of a downer for us. But I think you have the players here like we spoke of, Andy, Ian, Chris White, Jimmy McGee, Bobby D'Annunzio, Greg Matlack, I mean, Kenny Snow. You've got a lot of experienced players here. I mean, 2 goals is absolutely nothing. That's like, a 3-pointer. The Bulls are down by 15 points, and everyone says the game's over. I mean, this team, Paul Childs had never say die attitude, and he's definitely instituted that into this team.
All right, Michael Collins, good luck there in the second half. Great first half so far for you. Unfortunately for Detroit, down to Indiana 4-2. Back with more of our halftime festivities from the Palace of Auburn Hills right after this. Stay with us.
Meadowbrook Music Festival at Oakland University presents Air Supply. Live July 3rd. Air Supply. Then July 9th, Frank's Nursery and Crafts brings you Gordon Lightfoot. The Memories. Gordon Lightfoot. At the Meadowbrook Music Festival. Tickets at the Palace box office, all Ticketmasters or by phone. Air Supply. Gordon Lightfoot.
For everything in the world of soccer, there's Soccer World. Soccer World specializes in the best soccer equipment and sportswear. And Soccer World is known for their incredible selection of footwear and service. Their staff can put you into the cleat that best suits your style of play, including Adidas, Nike, Lotto, Lanzera, and many more. Make your soccer connection at Soccer World on 5 Mile west of Farmington in Livonia and at the corner of 14 Mile and DeQuinder in Sterling Heights.
No question. It's no doubt. The Coca-Cola Concert Series at the Palace presents No Doubt live in concert. June 29th, live at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Special guests Weezer and Face to Face. Tickets at the Palace box office and all Ticketmasters, or you can charge by phone. The CISL Halftime Report is brought to you by Safari GMC, putting you comfortably in command.
Welcome back to halftime at the Palace of Auburn Hills, Detroit and Indiana. And now we're proud to bring in the commissioner of the CISL, Ron Weinstein. Commissioner, obviously a lot of exciting changes in the league this year, and you've got to be excited. You, the league, the coaches, everybody involved.
Yeah, number one, I'm excited to be back in Detroit. It's one of my favorite cities in the league to visit. It's opening night of the league, and it's going to be a great season. Yes, as you said, there has been a lot of great changes in the league over the last 8 months since we closed our season, our 1996 season. And first and foremost is our agreement with Fox Sports. Our national television agreement will encompass 14 games, started off and headed off by our All-Star game out of Sacramento at the end of July, and then 8 games to follow, 8 games of the week, which will be exciting. Then they're going to cover 2 playoff games and the total championship series. So it's an exciting time for us right now, not only on the field but off the field.
How important is that for the CISL, do you think, that national TV contract?
Without question, it's the most important thing that's ever happened to this league league. We've been waiting 4 years for a break like this, and our agreement, we're in a great partnership with Fox Sports. They're very, very dedicated to promoting the sport of indoor soccer, showing the differences between indoor and outdoor. And I think one of the biggest challenges we've faced over the last 4 years is exposing the sport, the game, the excitement of indoor soccer, and showing people that it is a different product. And there's as much entertainment involved in the game as there is athleticism in sports. So it'll give us great promotion and great exposure.
You talk about exposure. There is exposure in Indiana now because of new solid ownership, and that has to make you feel, guys, a little more comfortable and a little bit better.
Yeah, that was a rough period for us, but that's part of our growing pains that we've been through the last 3 or 4 years. And Dan and Kim Cook, along with Carl Cook, have done a tremendous job revitalizing that franchise, showing people we're serious, showing people in Indianapolis that we're serious. And I think they're going to do a great job, and I think they're going to be a class ownership, and it'll fit in well with the rest of the major league ownership in the league.
Season opener for Detroit, Indiana, and really for the CISL. There is no other games on the docket tonight, so you are here, and it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt about it. It is our season opener, and it made the decision very easy as to where I was going to be tonight. Yeah. And it's a class building, it's a class city, and it's nice to be here.
All right, stick around for Hoop It Up this weekend, too, here at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Ron Weinstein, always a pleasure. Continued success to you in the CISL.
Thank you very much. Are you going to be my partner in Hoop It Up? That's my
you know, we need a little more height than this, okay? All right, back with our halftime festivities as it continues here from the Palace of Auburn Hills right after this.
If you're looking for more than a minivan, more standard power, more towing capacity, even more room and comfort, you're looking for a Safari by GMC. And now, it's the perfect time to lease. Because right now, you can lease Safari for only $299 a month for 36 months. Get more than a minivan. Get a Safari now. See your GMC dealer today.
Hi, I'm Brad Shaw. If you want a uniform company that protects the crease while offering great service, flexibility, and innovation, then you want Arrow Uniform.
Arrow eliminates uniform shortages. Imagine doing laundry for 3 Viper sellout crowds every day with no missing garments. Arrow cleans, sorts, and returns all of your company's uniforms right the first time, every time.
Learn more about the service that will keep you and your company looking good on the job.
When the diagnosis is cancer, the journey for hope begins. And that's why St. Joseph Mercy Oakland is the best partner you can have for hope, health, and healing. State-of-the-art technology in the hands of caring professionals right in your neighborhood. For more information or a free cancer risk assessment, call our cancer hotline at 800-344-6476. There are many kinds of care, but only one kind that's mercy.
And we're back with you live at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Detroit trailing Indiana after the first 30 minutes of play. 4-2, the Twisters on top with a couple of late goals. Joel Epstein, you look at that first half stat sheet. Looks great for Andy Chapman. Looks pretty darn good for Michael Collins as well. But overall, Detroit needs to put a little bit more pressure on John Kluba and the rest of that Indiana defense, doesn't it?
They need to play a little stronger in the midfield, control the pace of the game like you see the Twisters doing, getting better shot opportunities. I look for Chile to step up in this situation, and they really need him to step up in this situation. He had a great assist to Chapman. Chapman's going to do his job. They need people like Chile and Collins to get a little more involved in the offense and in transition.
Moreno scored a couple in the first quarter. Andy Chapman answered with 2 of his own from Farias and Collins in the second, but then the Twisters got another one from Soto, and then they cashed in from Terry Rowe, and that's what's giving them the 4-2 lead right now.
And they're using, you can see that the Safari are going to one guy to get their goals, and the Twisters using all their players.
Safari out shooting them, but all that matters is what's on the scoreboard, and it's Indiana 2, Detroit 4, or Detroit 2, Indiana 4. Back with a second half action right after this.
That's tonight's CISL Halftime Report, brought to you by Safari GMC, putting you comfortably in command.
Glad you're back with us at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Matt Shepard along with Joel Epstein as we start the second half. Indiana 4, Detroit 2. Collins, Chapman, Farias, D'Annunzio, and Fairbrother out there for Detroit as we start the second half of play. Detroit will move right to left. Indiana has it in their own zone. Collins back into the left corner. Chapman takes over there, trying to post up. Bolela on him. Collins, give and go to Chapman. Shot just high. Oh, my. Andy Chapman again pressuring and doing a good job of getting free to get the shot off.
Well, that was a cute play between him and Collins. He let Collins come and take the ball, and then he drifted into the arc and got a shot off.
Now back comes Indiana. Good job by Bobby D'Annunzio to break up the Moreno pass, who looking for Bolela streaking down the right side. Now there's a quick shot. Yarrow watched it sail to his right. Comes out to Farias. Farias toward the midfield stripe. Another shot on Detroit, but D'Annunzio turns his back and it bounces off his back. Now here's Kenny Snow. Good feed toward Chile. Cutting toward the net, but it's a little long. Chile will play it in the right corner. Gets around. Bolela. Shot no. Powers follow up no.
You can
just a little high.
Matt, you can see that the Safari have a lot more energy starting the second half as they played with basically in the first half of this game. They mean business now. Hopefully they can keep it up on their attack. Chile sending the ball across. There's Powers unable to hit it correctly with his left foot.
Luba wings it up the left side. Terry Rowe is there. Now stolen by Kenny Snow at the red line. He's two-timed, and it's back for Indiana. Lawler feeds it back toward the midfield stripe. And now they'll use Kluba, who comes up the right side. Indiana 4, Detroit 2, just underway here in the second half.
You can see that the Safari players are all getting behind the ball and playing defense. That's going to help them in the long run. They've got to be careful when they get into this wide open fast break game, because if they don't finish, they're going to be left susceptible in the back, though.
Safari 1-2 in the franchise history in season debuts. The one win a year ago against this Indiana club. And they beat them 3 of the 4 times they faced each other last year. Kluba left foots it toward Yarrow. Yarrow grabs it, runs up in the box toward the top of the arc. Now we'll take advantage of the free space that he's given up to Matlack. Now Kluba has it in the right corner. Back into the Detroit zone.
This is the goalkeeper's playing catch at this point.
Yarrow to Powers. Powers watches it sail by up the left boards. McGill putting some pressure on, and it looks like he'll pick up a foul.
That's a blue card out of the referee's pocket. Once again, I have never seen this many fouls in a CISL game.
Joe Callahan was there, and it looks like Jimmy McGill will go to the penalty box.
I believe he left his feet here, and that's why the official's calling it. Matlack left his feet, and then
no, he didn't.
He pinned him into the boards. That's why they get the call. It could have been Matlack. It could have been Jimmy. It looks like Jimmy's going to go. That's like a boarding call would be in hockey, man. Smash the guy against the boards and really prevent him from advancing with the ball.
So Paul Child sees his team start out quickly with a couple of scoring opportunities. Then watches Jimmy McGill back into the penalty box, and now it's a 5-on-4 shot high. Yarrow might have got a piece of that. Indiana 1 for 2 on the power play so far with a couple of shots. Now Moreno has it at the red line. To Terry Rowe in the right corner. Across the crease. There's another shot, but good save by Yarrow. And it comes out the left side.
Safari have to be careful here as the Twisters swing the ball from side to side. They've got to recover and defend all the angles as they switch from side to side. It's difficult to do as a defender.
Bolela sets up Moreno. Moreno chooses not to shoot. Back to Bolela. Bolela has it at the red line to Moreno. Right shot, no. Follows it up. And another foul.
Ian Fairbrother's like a brick wall.
And Moreno is hurt a little bit. I think Ian might have got the right forearm up around the throat of Moreno. And, you know, Ian is no stranger to fouls. At 77 a year ago, leading the CISL, and led Detroit in penalty minutes with 27.
Yeah, that was both guys going for the ball. Ian bringing his hand down and his knee up to protect himself. And Moreno taking the brunt of that, unfortunately.
Ian triggers it. It's a ricochet off Terry Rowe's left foot and out of bounds. 11:46 left to go here in the third quarter. Folks, you can heat up your summer this year with these great shows at Meadowbrook. the Music Festival at Middlebrook. Dan Fogelberg on June 20th. Donna Lewis on the 22nd. And Air Supply on July 3rd. For tickets, call the Palace box office or any Ticketmaster center. 11:44 left to go in the third quarter. Indiana 4, Detroit 2 on a couple of Andy Chapman goals. One assisted by newly acquired Carlos Farias. The other by newly acquired Michael Collins.
And as Michael Collins mentioned at the halftime, the Safari are 1-2 on power plays. Here's their third opportunity, full power play opportunity. They had a 30 seconds man advantage earlier in the game.
Yeah, Detroit down by a man, and that didn't help when Ian Fairbrother launched it into the crowd. So back comes Balela. 1:03 left on the power play for Indiana. Balela, left side. Terry Rowe had it in the corner, tried to center it, kicked away by Jason Davis.
Ben Powers did a nice job to switch over and cut off Terry Rowe in that situation, but Terry works himself far post and is open again.
There's Moreno with another shot and a good save by Yarrow. Now Moreno to Balela on the red line. Good job by Davis to mark Balela. Left side, Indiana trying to work their way in toward the box. Another centering pass to Rowe. Shot by Balela, but blocked in front of Yarrow. Now a ball loose in the box, kicked away by Ben Powers toward midfield. Balela will take control there. 21 seconds left with a man advantage for Indiana.
The Twisters can't get the ball past Ian Fairbrother. That's why they're unable to get it on net. He's blocking everything.
Yeah, he led the team in blocks a year ago with 42. Ian pinches in along that right corner. Gets some help from D'Annunzio. Now Balela with a left shot. Saved by Yarrow. And Jason Davis comes out of the pack. He's got a couple of guys to beat. He'll launch it into the right corner.
Jason Davis was tied for the league last year in shorthanded goals with 2. He looked for the goal in that situation because he knew Kluber was out.
Now Balela at the center circle. And Detroit has killed off the power play of Indiana. Good job by the Safari. Now we're at even strength.
We're at even strength, but the Safari were short a man.
Right. Michael Collins comes quickly out of the Detroit bench, and Ryerson's shot goes sailing high above Yarrow and out of bounds. 10:01 left to go in the third. Detroit trailing by 2. Timeout on the field. We're back with more right after this. Stay with us.
If you're looking for more than a minivan, more standard power, more towing capacity, even more room and comfort, you're looking for a Safari by GMC. And now it's the perfect time to lease. Because right now you can lease Safari for only $299 a month for 36 months. Get more than a minivan. Get a Safari now. See your GMC dealer today.
I'm Brad Shaw. If you want a uniform company that protects the crease while offering great service, flexibility, and innovation, then you want Arrow Uniform.
Arrow eliminates uniform shortages. Imagine doing laundry for 3 Viper sellout crowds every day with no missing garments. Arrow cleans, sorts, and returns all of your company's uniforms right the first time, every time.
Learn more about the service that will keep you and your company looking good on the job.
We've got 10:01 left for you in the third. Indiana still 4-2 leaders over Detroit. Matt Shepard along with Joel Epstein. Glad you could join us on this Friday night. Don't forget, following our broadcast, John Ollers brings you the Detroit Vipers in the Turner Cup against Long Beach. Detroit 7-2 on the road so far and hoping to deliver the knockout tonight to win their first ever Turner Cup championship.
Good sign for the Safari here is they're able to kill off that penalty. They want to go down by 3 goals, especially at the beginning here. They want to get the momentum going in their favor in this half.
Now Indiana trying to put more pressure. Now a late whistle. And somebody is down in the right corner.
And that would be Neil Gilbert. Looks like he's holding his knee.
Brian, keep an
can see that it's Ben Powers.
Ben Powers with a right forearm, but that's not Gilbert. That's O'Sullivan, who is a little dramatic in him going to the turf.
So he has the follow on there.
It's funny how these guys go down, and then when they get up, it looks like everything's A-okay. They don't get the whistle. Maybe they stay down a little bit longer.
Yeah, we got him.
That may be the indication right now here for Indiana, as Gilbert has helped to his feet and taken off. Now, Detroit won 3 of the 4 matchups a year ago against this Twisters ball club. Paul Childs telling us earlier before the game how important it was to control the ball, set the tempo, keep the pace. So far, mixed reviews on that.
Well, they've really been playing the Twisters' pace. And the ball possession, I would imagine, must favor the Twisters by a large margin, considering the fact that Safari have to kill off a few penalties as well.
Jimmy McGill, along with Greg Matlack out there, Ben Powers, Kenny Snow, and Chris White. Here's Yarrow at the red line.
You get the feeling that the Safari, once the floodgates open, and they're able to knock a ball in net, you'll see them start to score and understand how to find each other in bunches.
There's McGill tied up with Callahan to keep it in the Detroit pressure on Indiana's zone. Matlack all the way back to Powers. Powers heads it to Yarrow. Now Yarrow will roll it right side to McGill. McGill back to Yarrow, cross field. He's up the left side. Punch it into the Indiana zone, but stolen by the Twisters. Now Bobby D'Annunzio pinches in and sends it back into the Twister zone. D'Annunzio has it back in his zone now, up the right side to Chris White in front of the Hershey Dasher as he looks for some help. Tries to center it, but it's blocked there by Callahan. Now D'Annunzio with a big collision there with Callahan, and Callahan's got it all over Bobby. Callahan at 5'11", 180, and Bobby, a lot of spunk out there at just 5'4", 145.
Well, Bobby got the ball in this situation, but he turned and twisted and fell into the Twister player.
Now the Twisters kick it out of bounds. D'Annunzio was injured for a couple of days, missed a few practices earlier because of a pulled hammy. But that's bound to happen early in the season. A couple of guys we haven't seen yet tonight, Joel, and that's Eddie Child and Juan Carlos Sanchez. Those are the only 2 guys yet to play for Paul Child yet. Matlack with a left kick, no good, and saved there by Kluba. So the shot on goal, yeah.
Couldn't hold it. That could be danger for him later if he's not able and doesn't have the confidence to hold the ball. He could be in trouble.
Here's Matlack up the left side. Chapman. Chapman trying to post up, doing a pretty good job. Now he's got a red line. Now he'll find Fairbrother right side. Fairbrother out with D'Annunzio as defenders. Now Collins posting up just inside that box, and it's cleared by Indiana. So Detroit looked like they were setting up pretty good, but no shot on goal.
Well, Michael dumped that ball into the middle, hoping Andy or maybe one of the defenders would come up and take up space there, but it was just the Twister players who arrived to receive that one.
Rahanyo to Balela. Balela marked by Fairbrother. Balela will send it back toward the midfield stripe at 7:30 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Now the Twisters will back up a little bit. Andy Chapman encouraging the Twisters to get it going. Come on, man. What are you afraid of? Let's go. Let's go. Let's
He's not
play.
afraid of anything. He's able to kill time, and they are in the lead. In this situation, you want to have your team, the Safari, pressure the ball, but Paul wants to keep them back. You can see it's Andy Chapman's decision to pressure or not, as Paul told us before the game. They want to stay compact in their defense, and that's why the Twisters were trying to pull them out and create some open space for themselves.
Now Matlack with a steal up to Chapman. Chapman heads it off the glass. Now he'll gather it up, punches it to Matlack. Matlack falls down at the red line, and Indiana back the other way. Moreno up the right side. Powers comes over to shield him a little bit. Now here's Balela at the red line, moving in on Matlack. Back, and there's a shot. Save. Well, actually didn't get through. Fairbrother with a good job of knocking that down. Quickly up ahead to Chapman, who gets a shot off, but goes high and out of bounds. Off Detroit. 4-2. Indiana leads it. 6:20 left to go in the 3rd. Back with more after this. Back with you at the Palace. Now it's time for the Safari GMC Star of Tomorrow feature. Tonight's Star of Tomorrow is Matt Ziesmer, a forward from Highland, Michigan. That's tonight's Safari GMC Star of Tomorrow, brought to you by Safari GMC, putting you comfortably in command. Right now, Indiana in command. They're on top of Detroit 4-2 with 6:10 left to go in the third, as John Kluba, the goalkeeper for the Twisters, will take his time and work it toward midfield. He finds Ryerson right side. Chile comes out to pressure him. Now Kluba feeling pressure from Kenny Snow. Chris White has it in the Detroit zone, stolen by Rowe, and out comes Yarrow to kick it away. Kenny Snow heads it to Chile along the left boards. And we've got a whistle.
You see Chris White, number 7, the ball's just a little too far from his body from time to time. He's still playing the outdoor game. He'll get used to it, and the ball will be closer to his body as time goes past.
This guy's a big guy. Where's his size 11? That's the largest anyone in Safari history wears.
I wear a size 11. That's not all.
Yeah, but you're not out there playing like
That's
Chris White.
I'm too old. He's a lot younger than I, although he's logged a lot of minutes in England playing in the first division.
Big guy. Jimmy McGill set to set it up. Now to Chile. Chile can't get the shot through. Bobby D'Annunzio heads it back into the box. Kenny Snow, turnaround shot. Oh, just off the blue shield dasher. Just to the left of Kluba, who wings it up the left side. Indiana trying to pressure, and they don't get any on Yarrow, who gathers it up easy. Now past the midfield stripe. Snow missed on a header. Here comes Callahan, stolen by Snow. Bobby D'Annunzio will take care of it at Detroit's red line. To Chile up the left side, lost control of it. Back comes Indiana. Here comes Soto. Soto along the right side. Now Callahan. Callahan being pressured by Chile and D'Annunzio. Good control by Callahan. Finds Ryerson. Ryerson cross field, and now they go back to John Kluba, the keeper. Just under 5 minutes to go in the third. We've had no score in this third quarter. Twisters up on top 4-2. There's a long shot. Yarrow easily makes the save and finds Chile up the left side. Cross field to Michael Collins. Collins back to D'Annunzio. D'Annunzio at the midfield stripe to Fairbrother, back to Bobby. Bobby finds Superman Andy Chapman right side. Off the dasher, back to himself. Looking for Chile in the right corner. Chile off the boards and now cleared out of the Indiana zone to Yarrow. Yarrow to midfield Chile. Chile left side to Bobby D'Annunzio. Back to Chile at the red line. Now kicked away by Indiana, but it's still in that Twister zone. Here's Neil Gilbert. Gilbert quickly up the left side. Good job by D'Annunzio. Easy 2-on-1. No, kicked away by Yarrow. Good job by Yarrow to clear it out of harm's way. Ladagno had a 2-on-none, but couldn't gather it in. Now Collins. Collins finds Sanchez. Sanchez's long shot on Kluba made the save and kicked out of bounds.
The Safari have added to the lineup Juan Carlos Sanchez, number 8. This is his first shift of the evening. They've got to get something going offensively. 2 goals is not very many to score in the indoor game.
Juan Carlos played with Paul Child in Pittsburgh a couple of years ago. He was in the Mexican League a year ago and is now back in the CISL. Michael Collins has it in the right corner. Moreno trying to work around him and Powers. Moreno still with control. Finds Rajano and a whistle. Maybe the foul will go against Michael Collins. Tonight's attendance, 8,417 here at the Palace of Auburn Hills in tonight's CISL opener and the Safari's home opener. Twisters lead at 4-2 though, with 3:19 left to go. Bolela's shot blocked by Chapman and out of bounds. So Chapman and Collins doing a pretty good job of blocking that shot by Bolela.
Safari need to bust out in transition quickly and not give the Twisters a chance to get back and defend. They're packing themselves inside the arc, and in transition, that gives the Safari an opportunity to transition fast, break out, and create an odd man rush for themselves.
Another dribbler by Rajano, cleared by Yarrow up to Chapman, who couldn't get much sting on the ball, and Kluba gets it back to his teammates midfield. Now here's Lawler. Lawler stolen by Sanchez. Carlos Sanchez up ahead to Andy Chapman. Sanchez shoots, but I don't think they're going to count that one. Andy got Kluba tripped up at the red line. They were both going for the ball there, Joel. I don't understand what the call would be here. Juan Carlos Sanchez had a wide open goal, banged it home, but they won't call the goal.
Sanchez uses the outside of his right foot to put Andy into space. Kluba touches the ball, and then Chapman trips him as he goes past the ball. It looked like Kluba might get the ball stuck underneath him, not be able to handle it, but it's a bang-bang play, and Chapman decided maybe I can get a foot in and mess him up a little bit.
Late whistle, too.
I think the referee had a bad angle on the play. It was a quick play. The referee had to run downfield and see the action and see that Kluba was down. And boy, if he didn't call that, Juan Carlos Sanchez has his first goal in a Safari uniform.
Yeah.
Kluba, like somebody shot him, laying on the turf. Oh, he's miraculously getting up and he's okay.
Smart play by Juan Carlos, though, to at least shoot it in there just in case because of that late whistle.
A little too much pace on the ball. If he would have taken a little pace off of it, he would have had a goal from Andy Chapman.
Soto's shot is wide. Kenny Snow comes out of it.
Kenny Snow's doing a great job of coming back and defending from his point position.
Chris White looking to pass, and it's blocked by Lawler into the crowd. I think Kenny Snow's played a pretty good game tonight.
He wants to get on the board, and of course that's what his job is. He can score a lot of goals, and he has had many multiple goal games in a Safari uniform.
Chris White up the left side to Chile. Chile with a mild shot on goal, and Kluba will clear. Kept in by McGill. Here's Kenny Snow. Great pass from behind his back and stolen by Indiana. Here's Chile with a steal on Soto. Shot no off the board. And Indiana will look to clear. Lawler. Down the middle. Here comes Blackburn, but taken away by D'Annunzio. Lawler gets it back for the Twisters. Soto kicks it wide and out of bounds into the Detroit Safari bench.
Well, things are starting to loosen up down in the Twister end for the Safari. Kenny Snow, I was surprised to see him try to backheel that to Chile. He could have taken that by himself.
Good steal by Chile.
Chile here, but he dribbles one too many times. He needed to blast that ball. Ball does come off the board, but Snow was not in close enough to take advantage of the situation. Here's a good opportunity for the Safari with a dead ball play. Michael Collins will trigger. He'll have Chris White on his right. He'll have Chile on his left.
And then D'Annunzio and Snow down just outside the box.
This ball's going to come to Chile.
Might go to Snow. It does go to Chile. Shot just wide. Oh, almost went back off the back of Kluba into the net, but Kluba able to cover up. And now, again, he is injured.
He got kicked by Kenny Snow, who was going for the ball. Kluba made a real nice play. First, he couldn't hold it, and that's what happens to goalkeepers when they can't hold a play, and they can't hold the ball. They get hurt because you'll have players flying in, you see.
And that's a design pass by Chile to bounce it off the dasher and give Kenny Snow a chance to pinch in and hit an open net.
So the trainer for the Indiana team is out, seeing to Kluba.
Another look at it. You can see the obvious pass attempt by Chile, and Kenny Snow was on the doorstep. Kluba just getting a piece of it to keep Detroit idle at 2. $1:36 left to go in the third. Twisters 4, Safari 2.
Well, this is a high-powered Safari offense when they can understand each other and make these accurate passes that they need to do, because potentially they do have a lot of firepower. There are a lot of players who can score, but they need to get in short order here. This has been a totally scoreless third quarter for both clubs.
Yeah, but there has been some pressure from Detroit, and that's one thing hopefully the Safari can build on for the fourth. Kenny Snow, Ian Fairbrother out there muscling Callahan for the ball, but Callahan gets a nice pass out to Ladonio. Now cross field, O'Sullivan chases it down. Kenny Snow comes in and rams O'Sullivan, undercuts him in the left corner.
That's a silly foul.
And there's a whistle, and the blue card will pop out, so that means Detroit will be short a man for the next couple of minutes as we wind down toward the end of the third. $1:15 left to go. You see Kenny Snow maybe a little frustrated because he went in barreling hard on O'Sullivan.
And the ball was already gone when he hit him. And that's silly.
And Collins has got him marked anyway. Pretty good job by Collins, and there goes Kenny Snow to take him down. A reminder, the next home game here at the Palace, Seattle pays a visit on Thursday, June 26th. Hope you can join us right here on Pass.
The Sea Dogs with Clavillo, Fernando Clavillo, off the U.S. World Cup team of 1994 as their head coach. You know, he'll have his bunch ready to come in here to the Palace.
1:15 left to go in the third. Detroit down a man now. D'Annunzio is out there with Fairbrother Powers, and Jason Davis is back out there as a special teamer. Indiana has cashed in once already tonight with a man advantage.
I think the referees have been told to control this game through penalties. I've never seen this in the years I've been covering the CISL. I've never seen this many penalties, Matt, in a ball game.
D'Annunzio tries to clear, but Balela grabs it at the midfield stripe. Now Balela to the right side. Moreno thought about the shot. Now he lets it fly, and it goes high and out of bounds.
I think that was off of Ben. They're going to call a corner kick here. Off of Ben Powers. He came by to cut the angle off on the near post.
Moreno credited with 2 goals already tonight. Andy Chapman has a couple. Terry Rowe has one, and Rojano, I believe, has the other. Now this one rolls just wide of Yarrow as the Twisters continue to pressure. They have a minute and a half left to go in their man advantage. Moreno sets it up to Balela, who tees it up on the left side. Blocked by Yarrow. Now Bobby D'Annunzio comes out and pushes it past the midfield stripe and into the Indiana zone. 30 seconds left to go in the third. Twisters with Zavela on the left side. Balela, midfield. Moreno thought about the shot. Ben Powers coming over to mark him. Balela left foots it. Zavela with a shot high and out of Yarrow's reach, but it comes out to Moreno right side. Along the right wing. Marked closely by D'Annunzio. Now Balela has it. Top of the arc. Good job by Jason Davis. Moreno tees it up. Blocked by Powers and out of harm's way. And that will end the third quarter of play. No scoring here in the third. Twisters still holding on to the 4-2 lead. We're back with the final quarter right after this. Stay with us.
If you were looking
Two, you saw and heard Brad Shaw. He and the Vipers skate after this contest out on the left coast. They're up against the Ice Dogs of Long Beach, and they're pounding them right now. 3-1, looking for their first ever Turner Cup. They're 7-2 in the postseason. Stay tuned. You're going to want to watch for that. A chance to skate with a cup.
It's amazing
after
how even the stats are, Matt. When you see shots, they're dead even. Shots on goal favor the Twisters. There's been a lot of penalties in this game, and the fouls are pretty much even. In order for the home club to come out on top, they're going to have to kick it into gear and keep the ball in the offensive end, keep switching it back and forth, finding the open man, and taking shots at opportunities when they exist.
So far, the first and third quarters not good for Detroit. The second, and let's hope the fourth will be. Andy Chapman posting a couple in the second to keep Detroit in this ball game. Right now, 4-2 as we get set to start the fourth quarter of action. Detroit will move left to right. But Indiana has control, moving right to left. Balela. And remember, Detroit is down a man for the next 35 seconds. Balela, right side, Moreno. Moreno shielded by D'Annunzio. Almost a giveaway, but Jason Davis couldn't catch up to it. Here's Zavela. Finds Moreno right side. Now top of the key there. Balela with a shot, and it rolls past Yarrow. Oh, it looked like it was deflected in front
by Rojano.
Rojano with the goal here, according to Joel. 5-2 Indiana. Kenny Snow walks out of the penalty box. I thought Kenny Snow was playing a pretty solid game until the mental block down in the third quarter, giving Indiana the man advantage. Take a look at it.
Balela has not shot the ball at all on these penalty situations. He's the trigger man. He finally takes his shot. It goes straight to Rojano, who's unmarked. And Rojano slips it off his left foot and in. He just deflects the ball in.
So 31 seconds into this fourth quarter, Indiana now boasting a 3-goal lead, and the Safari will have to pressure hard now. Fairbrother has it in the Indiana zone, crossfield to D'Annunzio. Now Collins right side. Fairbrother comes up to check Callahan off the ball. Callahan looking at Ian, telling him to take it easy, and Fairbrother says, hey man, that's my game. I am physical. I'm going to body you any chance I can. Neil Gilbert, right side to the keeper. John Kluba, who has played rather well tonight. Michael Collins will now step up and pressure Kluba, who finds Ryerson past the midfield stripe. Now back to Kluba.
Well, Kluba would like nothing better than to come out here with a victory because, as I mentioned before, he was with this team as a rookie, and he's been with the Twisters for a couple of years, and they've treated him awful rough when they've met in the past.
Well, you talked about, and so did Paul Child before the game, talking about the ability to control the soccer ball. And Detroit has not been able to do that, not been able to sustain that for any period of time.
You can see Fairbrother and Chapman sliding on the ground to play some defense and knock the ball away. Some good defensive plays they aren't able to control, like you're saying, man.
Kluba, right side. And now they'll kick it left side to Ryerson. Ryerson will try and set up that Indiana offense. He'll go back to Kluba. Kenny Snow comes after Kluba. There's the giveaway they're looking for. Fairbrother heads it toward Collins' right side. Now to Chile. Back to Yarrow. In the box. Now just outside. Right foots it up the left side to Chris White. Off the dasher. Now Indiana back the other way.
And really, Kluba is doing an excellent job offensively for his team. It makes the Safari take themselves off of a man and run at Kluba, and they always seem to find the open man.
Detroit 10-4 a year ago at home. One of the better teams in the league protecting their home turf. They trail by 3 with 12:43 left to go in the ballgame.
And when you play only 28 games in a season, every game is very important, particularly the ones at home.
Chris White will trigger it in his own zone. Up the left side, didn't hit it hard enough, and it's batted away there by Rojanio. Kluba has it, top of the arc. Left foots it past the midfield stripe. Chris White will take over there for Detroit. The Safari in their season opener looking for their second straight home season opener win. They beat Indiana last year 8-2, but now trail by 3. They have not been able to generate the offense Paul Child was expecting. Michael Collins out. Kenny Snow in, along with Chris White and Ben Powers and Jimmy McGeough, and Juan Carlos Sanchez is also out there for the Safari. Here's one kicked into the right side, headed back to Kluba. Kluba rolls it up the left side to Balela. Balela past the midfield stripe. Finds Moreno, back to Balela. Boy, those guys can take care of that ball, can't they?
They're working well together. When you practice twice a day for weeks at a time, this is the type of result you get. They really know each other and how and what spaces they're going to be running into.
Zavela all the way back to Kluba. Kluba past the red line in the Indiana zone, and Detroit will pressure him. Now quickly up the right side, Ben Powers chests it out to Jimmy McGeough. He's got Andy Chapman posting top of the key to Sanchez with a shot and a save by Kluba. That would have been huge.
Well, you can see Chapman felt the pressure, decided to deal the ball off to Sanchez in space. Another defender came back, was able to defend against him. He got the shot off. Kluba with a great save.
Moreno to Soto with a shot wide, headed back in toward Yarrow, but wide. Here comes Ian Fairbrother. Fairbrother in his own zone, back to Yarrow, who boots it up toward Andy Chapman, heads it back into the Detroit zone and out of bounds into the Twister bench. 11:09 left to go in the fourth. Detroit down by 3 goals to Indiana in the season opener.
I know one of my golfing buddies is here with 5,000 tickets, one of the game sponsors, Mike Abrams from Pool Hall in Utica.
5,000?
Yeah.
That's a lot of friends.
Yes, he has a lot of friends.
Bobby D'Annunzio into the right corner off the high glass, and now it's chested and kicked back into the Detroit zone. Terry Rowe steals it from D'Annunzio. 3-on-2 for the Twisters. Terry Rowe set up to Soto, who fires it wide. Out comes Chile with it. The Safari trying to make something happen. In this fourth quarter, they trail by 3. Gilbert up the right side. Now back to Soto.
Man, Terry Rowe hasn't played very much, but he comes out and he makes a difference when he does. He's only played 4 or 5 shifts the entire game. He's got a goal off that power play shot where he chested the ball in.
With time winding down at the half. Now Fairbrother cuts out Balela near the center circle. No call there. Twisters along the right side. D'Annunzio pinching in. Trying to beat Balela. Now kicked aside by Chile. Fairbrother goes after it. There's a whistle. Fairbrother ran right into Neil Gilbert, and Gilbert is clutching his right knee and rolling on the turf.
Well, he got For that foul, he got 2 cards. He got a blue card and a yellow card. Now, a blue card means that he'll be in the penalty box for 2 minutes. A yellow card means one more flagrant play, and he'll be tossed from the ball game, just like outdoor soccer, man.
Well, here it is. Sure doesn't help when you're down by 3 and suddenly you're down a man. Well, if you're going to foul, I guess you better foul him and make sure it hurts. And that's exactly what happened with Ian Fairbrother. He fouls number 5, Neil Gilbert. When we come back, Indiana with another power play opportunity. They're up by 3. Back with more after this.
Frank's Nursery and Crafts and Meadowbrook Music Festival at Oakland University welcomes Welsh singing sensation Donna Lewis, Sunday, June 22nd at 8 p.m. Singer-songwriter Donna Lewis, Sunday, June 22nd. Tickets available at the Palace box office, and all Ticketmasters are charged by phone.
For everything in the world of soccer, there's Soccer World. Soccer World specializes in the best soccer equipment and sportswear. And Soccer World is known for their incredible selection of footwear and service. Their staff can put you into the cleat that best suits your style of play, including Adidas, Nike, Lotto, Lanzera, and many more. Make your soccer connection at Soccer World on 5 Mile west of Farmington in Livonia and at the corner of 14 Mile and DeQuinder in Sterling Heights.
Welcome back to the Palace of Auburn Hills. Matt Shepard along with Joel Epstein. 10:09 left to go in the 4th quarter. The Twisters on top of the Safaris 5-2. Detroit's got to start cashing in on some opportunities and make them hurt. Right now they are down a man.
Well, this is important for the Safari right now to kill off this penalty. That will give them some momentum. Then they need to capitalize. We're starting to run, short of time. We've got about 10 minutes left here in the ball game. They're down by 3.
Yeah, Indiana with 9 shots went in their 4 power play opportunities, and 2 of them have beaten Yarrow. But it's tough to play catch-up soccer when you're down a man. So now you waste 2 minutes with a guy in the box, and you need 3 goals to boot. Here's one squirting away toward the box, and Yarrow able to pick it up.
In indoor soccer, goals can come quickly. It's a short field. You've got the boards that bounce the ball off of, but you've got to get on a roll here.
Well, Andy Chapman proved that in the 2nd quarter. So did Terry Rowe in Indiana at the end of the 2nd quarter. But so far, the goals have not come very quickly for Detroit in this season opener. We approach the 9-minute mark. Terry Rowe with a centering pass, and it rolls through the box. Zavala and Indiana had their opportunity. Now Rowe chases it down and finds number 8, Balela. Balela up the right side to Moreno. Back to Balela. Approaching the red line to Moreno right side. Back to Balela, who, as Joel pointed out, has not shot the ball a lot tonight. But the one shot he did have some traffic in front of Yarrow, and it was tipped in by Rohanya. Now Balela has it back. Jason Davis marking him. Moreno with a chance to wind up. Thought about it. There's a shot by Balela, and he scores. Beats Yarrow to the left side, and Indiana now with a comfy 4-goal cushion.
And he used the outside of his left foot. He saw an opening. He's measuring all the time. The ball keeps coming back to him. He sees the opening. The Safari had just 12 seconds left to kill off this penalty and did a nice job of covering up the seams.
Now, being in the penalty is what hurt him. You make plays like that, it's going to come back to nip you more chances than not.
You can see the 2 defenders, Powers and Davis, coming over and covering that seam. And that ball deflected off the inside right foot of Davis and went into the Safari net. Right there. And it caught Yarrow because it was coming right at Yarrow. It was a straight shot right at the middle of the goal. It hits Davis as he tried to come over to defend, hit the inside of his right foot and in the net.
Very tough to blame Yarrow for many of these goals. 3 of them coming on the power play now. And a couple others were wide open shots.
Well, he's had some big saves tonight.
Yeah, no question about it. Cannot blame Yarrow for these. Now he comes out. There's another squirter, and it will score. Oh, when it rains, it pours, doesn't it?
Yeah, Blackburn
just nipped it. Yarrow came out to try and contest it. And Jorge Espinoza very pleased at his Indiana Twisters performance on the road tonight.
You get all these tough goals off of past Yarrow, and here comes a little leaker that he comes out. But once again, Blackburn is unmarked. There's nobody running with him. And when you're trailing and trying to pressure, you're going to leave the back open. Davis is trying to get back. He looked like he towed the ball even. It didn't look like he hit it very solid, but that's all he needed to knock the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, Callahan to Blackburn, and it's 7-2 now. 7 goals, the average goals that Yarrow gave up a year ago. Now Kluba. And Kenny Snow kicks it high and out of bounds. 7:42 left to go in the fourth. Twisters comfortably ahead by 5. Back with more after this.
If you're looking for more than a minivan, more standard power, more towing capacity, even more room and comfort, you're looking for a Safari by GMC. And now, it's the perfect time to lease. Because right now, you can lease Safari for only $299 a month for 36 months. Get more than a minivan. Get a Safari now. See your GMC dealer today.
Hey kids, want to make this summer vacation the best ever? Then sign up for a Detroit Pistons basketball camp. Learn to dribble, shoot, and pass like the pros. Win all sorts of prizes and awards, such as the Grant Hill MVP Award. The Pistons Training Camp Tour makes its way through the state this summer. Call the camp hotline to reserve your spot in our starting lineup. Registration forms available at the Palace locker room stores and participating donos. The Pistons thanks supporting sponsors Nike and Blue Cross Blue Shield.
When the diagnosis is cancer, the journey for hope begins. And that's why St. Joseph Mercy Oakland is the best partner you can have for hope, health, and healing. State-of-the-art technology in the hands of caring professionals right in your neighborhood. For more information or a free cancer risk assessment, call our cancer hotline at 800-344-6476. There are many kinds of care, but only one kind that's mercy.
Matt Shepard along with Joel Epstein back with you at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Indiana on top of Detroit 7-2, if not for Andy Chapman's 2 goals in the second quarter. Career goal number 75 and 76 in a Safari uniform. This would be a shutout. 7.5 left to go in this ball game, and another injury down in the left corner. Jose Luis Rojano, who has a couple of goals tonight, is in some pain as he was muscled in that left corner. Let me ask you this, Joel Epstein. You've played a lot of soccer. You've coached it. You've general managed teams. What do you say if you're Paul Child to your club tonight, knowing that they came out with a lot of expectations against a team that struggled on the road last year, but gave you this effort here tonight?
Well, it's pieces in a puzzle. And the tighter you can put the puzzle together, the more it'll stand. And that's what needs to happen. These guys need to learn their roles. And you're playing against a team who practices twice a day for about a month now.
Right.
And you can see that a lot of these players for the Safari are just coming in. Some did not come in shape. Some still aren't in shape. It's going to take them, with a 28-game schedule, you don't have time to waste. Right. You need to be on this right away. But that's the nature of the beast. Every team goes through this. Jorge Espinoza he feels he's ahead of where he was last year. You can see why he feels that way.
So Detroit with a last push effort to try and get something going here. Here's Zavala trying to put more pressure on Yarrow. Give Indiana credit. They are not laying back. Any chance they can to put pressure on Yarrow, and the Detroit defense, they're taking advantage of it, and they're trying to take care of business in the Detroit zone. Here's Chili along the left boards. Tries to center it. Ben Powers has it right side in the right corner. And we've got another whistle. Under 7 minutes to go. Don't forget, following our broadcast here tonight, John Ollers has your play-by-play of the Vipers and Long Beach Ice Dogs in Game 5 of the Turner Cup Finals. Detroit leading 3-1. And looking for the championship. Chile with a shot. Balela with a block on it, and it'll bounce all the way down off the Hershey Dasser. Yarrow takes care of business. Crossfield pass, but there's nobody there.
Well, nobody came back.
Now Moreno to Balela, score. Getting sloppy now, and Indiana boasting a 6-goal lead.
Can come out now.
Nobody came back to help Yarrow. I was surprised because I looked down inside the corner of my eye. I thought that was a Safari player. It was actually the referee who was square to him. That's why he didn't send the ball. He waited and waited. Then he sent it square, and there still was nobody back. Here's Yarrow by himself. He looks. He's got pressure. Balela seems to be everywhere for this team, as we talked about at the top of the show. There's players digging back now, but when you're trying to score, you're going to get caught upfield. And that's what's going to happen. Your backside's going to be open.
And, you know, I was just talking about this. Give Indiana credit. They are not sitting back with a 5-goal lead. When they see a chance to pounce, that's what they're doing. Balela pressures Yarrow. Yarrow kicks it to the opposite side of the field. Moreno comes up to help out. And then a little touch pass to Balela, who kicks it top shelf right side.
Well, they can feel it. The Twisters can feel it. Now you have this Safari going to a 6th attacker. The 6th attacker is Michael Collins. So he'll have the goalie responsibilities when they have to defend their own net.
And we've got another whistle in the left corner. Collins will come up. Chile will trigger it to Michael Collins. His shot partially blocked. Kluba wings it up the right side. Fairbrother trying to chase it down in the box, but he can't save it from going in.
He knocks it in. That goes to Kluba, that goal.
John Kluba celebrating his first goal, and he does it against his old team. 9-4 Twisters on a roll.
You can see Yarrow.
9-2, Indiana now with a 7-goal lead.
Yarrow biting his fingernails through his gloves. I don't think we'll see much of Yarrow the rest of the ball game.
Strong arms it down the middle. Ian Fairbrother thought he had a shot, but
and he knew he had to stop it because that's going to count for the goalkeeper. So he had to dive in.
Kluba making some big saves tonight, and now he's got a goal to boot.
He had a little smile on his face there, a little smirk. I know his family's watching back in St. Louis, watching this broadcast.
So the tables have been turned now on Detroit from a year ago, where they beat Indiana 8-2. The Twisters repay the favor.
Michael Collins got caught upfield. He is the 6th attacker. He did not get back in time as the ball got into Kluba's hands, and John didn't waste a second, did he, Matt? He just took that ball and whipped it and beat everybody back to the goal.
Let me ask you this. Is it strange to have a 6th attacker as a midfielder instead of a defender?
Well, it really makes no difference. It used to be Drago, oddly enough, and that's who Michael was traded for. So they traded 6th attackers for 6th attackers. What you're looking for is somebody who is very athletic.
Now Kluba comes out again and kicks it out of harm's way. Dribbles along the board. Collins has it in the box at the 6-minute mark as we approach the 6-minute mark. Jason Davis back to Collins, left side. Now Davis has it toward the midfield circle on Carlos Sanchez.
Well, Paul Child knew he had to go to the 6th attacker with 8 minutes left in the game or so, being down by 6 goals at that point, but he didn't think he'd get the result he did right away.
Kenny Snow with a shot but blocked. Pretty good job by Zavela.
So what you want out of the Safari right now is for them to put 2-3 quick goals in the net and make them feel a lot better about this performance that they've had here at the Palace this evening.
Zavela skipping up the left side at the midfield stripe. Now I would think Indiana wants to get some type of shot on goal to test Michael Collins.
Well, they don't really need to. You might see them play. You might see them play keep away as opposed to attacking. But they can smell blood, and when a shark smells blood, they go for it. And that's the situation that, I mean, these guys can build their stats up in a situation
like question, this. No question. This is where maybe you just get a little selfish. Here's Sanchez to Kenny Snow. Shot over the head of Kluba, but kept out of there.
I don't know. maybe John got a hand on that one.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going in, but it just kind of stayed up in the air.
Good job by Londono to keep it out of the net, though.
But you can see Snow, he's a wise player. He knew the goalkeeper was out. He's going to chip the ball over his head and drop it in the back of the net. I was ready to count that when I was shocked to see it didn't go in.
There's Balela over Michael Collins' head off the dasher.
Well, Michael has no clue that he's going to go with his hands. He does not look like he's going to go with his hands to the ball, does he? He looks like he's going to only use his feet.
So it goes out of bounds, and Indiana will trigger it into the Detroit zone. Under 5 minutes to go here in game number 1. Detroit trailing 9-2. That time Collins used his hands. Chris White comes out of the pack with it. Up the right side. The big fella muscles it off the boards to the middle circle, but Balela there to gather it up for Indiana. Now back into the Detroit zone. D'Annunzio lets it roll to the box, and Collins will thought about winging it, and now he'll kick it up past the midfield stripe to Kenny Snow. Snow to D'Annunzio, tried to break it up there, was Ryerson. Now Chapman with a shot, but blocked by Zavela. Top of the arc, Chris White right side, boots it, almost got through, but a pretty good save by Zavela. Helping out his keeper. Sanchez to White. White around a defender. Good pass to D'Annunzio off the board to Chapman left side. Back out toward midfield to Collins. Collins to Sanchez. Pops it up in the air to White. Bats it down to D'Annunzio. Now Indiana back the other way. Balela looks to run. Balela along with Moreno, and a whistle.
And that's 4 fouls.
4 fouls.
Against Moreno. That's why he's going to the box. 4 fouls in the quarter, Matt.
Yep.
So that'll send him to the box. The 4th official right on top of that, Sean Surahan. So now you've got 6v4. You've got a 6th attacker plus a penalty situation. Here you should have, but I've seen, you know, situations where the Red Wings have had 5-on-3 and not scored. So you just never know. You got to move that ball from side to side and rebound any shots taken.
Vipers would love a couple of 5-on-3s tonight to ice the Ice Dogs, if you will.
Hey, I'm hoping the Vipers, I don't want to be selfish here, come back to this building and win it in Detroit, because I want to see that. I want to bring my son to see
Steve Ludzig would slap you if he could right now.
I know.
He wants to take care of business as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And that's coming up right after our broadcast. Should be a great game out on the left coast.
Hey, I said I was going to be selfish, and I want my son and I to be able to witness the Turner Cup skating around this arena.
Kenny Snow trying to put some pressure on. That's John Allers and Mike Greenlay a little bit later on tonight. Michael Collins past the midfield stripe. Oh, Chapman is drilled from behind. And you got the whistle.
Oh, another foul. Another blue card foul.
Plenty of chances here now. Ryerson is gone. Chapman's got a couple of choice words for Rich Ryerson, who's offering a hand, and Chapman will take it.
Andy's still talking. Ryerson helped him up. Oh, and a yellow card as well. Now you've got 6-on-3.
2 minutes.
6-on-3. For no longer than $1:24 with 3:04 left to go in the 4th. Detroit down by a whole bunch. They're down by 7 goals, 9-2.
Matt, you don't find anybody tougher than Andy Chapman. He is one tough customer on a soccer field. He's played 2 seasons worth of games.
He hasn't missed a game.
He hasn't missed a game.
Playoff game or a regular season game. And says an awful lot about him.
He's a hard worker.
Collins to Chile left side. Chile finds D'Annunzio. Indiana able to get it out of that red zone. Boy, oh boy, Detroit is a little lost at times tonight. They've got to start working for it. There's a shot for Indiana. Are you kidding me? Oh, off the Spartan Dasher, so they dodge a bullet there. Fairbrother has it. Midfield stripe, 2:45 left to go on the 4th. Fairbrother finds Snow. Back to Fairbrother. 6-on-3. Chile with a shot. Actually goes to D'Annunzio along the Clark Dasher just outside Kluba in the goal. Now Collins with a shot off the Dasher to D'Annunzio. D'Annunzio around to Chile left side. Chile back to Collins red line. Teeing it up. Measuring. Fairbrother right side. Thought about it. Off the Dasher into Kluba. Kluba will wing it. Up the left side. Collins will chase it down.
Well, just a half a minute left now with the 2-man, or make that the 3-man advantage. We consider the 6th attacker. Twister's doing a great job the Safari need to pack it in. They need to get closer to the goal to get a good scoring opportunity here. They need to penetrate the arc with the ball.
Michael Collins inside the red zone. Tees it up to Chapman. Gets twisted around. Fairbrother with a shot just wide. Now Chapman. Oh, it was high.
You can see these shots are going high. These guys are not getting their chest over the ball. They're sitting back. That's a sign of being tired as the balls go up above the crossbar.
They have logged a lot of turf time here in this fourth quarter because Paul Child has had to go to his gamers. Now D'Annunzio, cross field to Fairbrother with a shot, and it goes high into the crowd. 1:28 left to go in the fourth. Twisters 9, Safari 2. Detroit with a 6-on-4 advantage now as one penalty is killed off by Indiana. 24 ticks left to go with a 2-man advantage.
There's going to be some psychological damage here if the Safari are not able to beat. They couldn't beat a 6-on-3. They need to beat a 6-on-4. And it's not so much, I mean, the Twisters are doing a fine job. It's the Safari are not in sync in order to get the ball where it is they need it at and where they can get it at.
Kluba up the left side. Moreno in on goal. Schools Jason Davis, and now he gets Davis turned around again. Moreno. Now Davis gets some help from Fairbrother, who actually from Kenny Snow, who takes down Moreno.
Now we got a game of keep away, Matt.
Yep. Lawler has it. Now back to Kluba. Kluba punches it toward the midfield circle. Lawler finds Gilbert. Stolen. Here comes Chile up the left side. Chapman with a shot just wide, headed by Chile and out of bounds.
They killed off both penalties, and then Chapman gets the ball with full strength for both teams and hits the post.
Yeah, strangely enough, not only did they kill off both penalties, but for the final 20-plus seconds or so with a 2-man advantage, or 2-man disadvantage, Indiana was the one applying the pressure and taking ball control. Jason Davis heads it right back at Kluba in the box.
Smart play by Kluba there to back up and take it in his hands. It just knocked off a couple more seconds off that clock.
Yep. 40 seconds left to go in this ball game. Indiana in control 9-2. Jason Davis doing a good job fighting through, but Lawler has it and punches it back into the Detroit zone along the right dasher.
Eddie Child getting his first shift for the Safari, number 13.
Chris White up the left side to Chile. Chile loses it back to Indiana. Moreno to Lawler and chased down by Jason Davis, who lets it roll to Michael Collins. Here's Eddie Child. Left foots it to Chris White left side. White, good control. Taps it back to Chile along the left dasher, left corner. Now Chapman posting up. Had it stolen. Gets it back. Sets up Child, but picked off by Kluba, and the clock winds down. The horn sounds. Game 1 is in the books. And Indiana, the team walking off the Palace turf, feeling good about themselves, and why not? They boast a 9-2 season opening win to improve to 1-0 on this young campaign. Paul Child has some concerns. There's no question about that. His team a loser by 7. 9-2 the wrap-up. We'll be back to wrap it up from the Palace of Auburn Hills. This is Detroit Safari Soccer, and we're back with you right after this.
Brought to you by Safari by